Known for its beautiful vineyards and seemingly endless barrels of reds and whites, Sonoma has become the center of California's wine country. But before any of that, it was a community. And in October of last year, they bonded together like never before after wildfires spread throughout Northern California, covering over 245,000 acres and causing more than $9 billion in damages. But Sonoma's residents didn't let that deter them. Instead, they rose up, together. Sonoma Rising is the continuing effort to rebuild the county, not only for the weekend tourists, but for the people who call it home. Residents, local businesses, and wineries have all stepped in to help the efforts, and it hasn't stopped there. The trend continues this weekend as the raceway, manufacturers, race teams, and drivers have all stepped up. They say it takes a village, and this village has no signs of slowing down. This is Sonoma.
And the track honoring first responders and fire survivors, Sonoma indeed rising. 30 miles north of San Francisco, almost 60,000 acres of grapes, and 1 acre of grapes, I'm told, equals almost 4,000 bottles of wine. Somebody will be celebrating at the end of today's race. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, and everything they learned making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR, and some great overhead views of one of the most scenic and picturesque racetracks the drivers race on. Chevy up front with Kyle Larson on the pole and ready to hear the words they want to hear.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, Olympic gold medalist, and World Cup champion, Johnny Mosley.
Drivers, start your engines! Woo!
Well, let's continue the wine country theme here. Like a fine wine, these 4 drivers are in good shape, headed for NASCAR's playoffs. It's time to pop the cork on these 2 past champions, still looking for their first win of the season. Ripe for a win, road course specialist Allmendinger. It's his best chance to win his way into the playoffs. And here in Sonoma, the toast of the town. Fastest in qualifying yesterday, Kyle Larson will start from the pole. Some of NASCAR's stars have really embraced Sonoma. It's 11 corners of California cool. For others this weekend, it's been 11 turns of terror. This is not an easy place to master, nor to win. In the last 9 Sonoma races, we've had 9 different drivers end up in victory lane. Could be a 10th today. You're going to see a lot of curb hopping and popping and different things as drivers try to keep it on the pavement for 110 laps. And strategy will play a part, whether the crew chiefs are running this race forward or from the checkered flag backward. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot to talk about, and you're going to enjoy NASCAR at Sonoma. The engines have fired. We are ready to race in wine country, a beautiful place. Another day in paradise? You better believe it. For all of us on the NASCAR on Fox crew and for these teams.
The road to the championship takes a dramatic turn. NASCAR's first road course race of the season.
Down on the south end, says you ever know what's going with me. That girl, she can't see my sin, can't see the devil underneath my skin. On the pole, right on my shoulder, it's getting heavy, rise, getting over it. Gotta find me, hold it, for the boss and let me tell you these
Welcome to Fox Sports coverage at the Toyota Savemart 350 on FS1. What a perfect day for racing. Temperatures in the low 80s, a nice breeze as cars roll out on the first pace lap. Going to be just above 80 when it hits the high for the day. That's about 15 degrees below yesterday. Track temp 120. And as they come to turn number 7, the starting lineup with 4 Chevrolets in the first 5 spots. Kyle Larson on pole for the 2nd straight year. 2013 winner Martin Truex in row 1. Chase Elliott had his best Sonoma finish here last year, 8th. Jamie McMurray has a lot of road race experience and skills, as does A.J. Allmendinger, and last year's winner, Kevin Harvick. 38 cars in the starting lineup. We should talk to a few.
I think we should talk to Clint Boyer. What do you think?
That's never a bad idea.
One of my favorites. Clint Boyer, DW, you got me, buddy.
We'll check it. First gear.
They're working on talking to the crew chief. Clint Boyer, DW, you got me, buddy?
I got you, DW.
All right, my man, you come in here with a lot of momentum. Won it to Michigan a couple of weeks ago. You're really, really good on this road course. You started a little deep in the field. What's the strategy, buddy?
Well, the strategy's obviously got to pass a lot of cars. You got to get up there in position to be able to win this thing. A lot of patience, a lot of patience. Everybody knows this thing is an attrition game. You got to take care of these Goodyear tires. I'm looking at lap 12 to 25 here. Those are the where you got to shine. A lot of these cars are going to take off good and fall off. You just got to make sure you're not one of them.
All right, they tell me you're really good at tire management. Good luck, buddy.
All right, thanks, guys. Make us look good, huh?
Well, we'll try. Now, Boyer has a win here. I asked how a dirt tracker from Kansas embraced road racing. He said it's like a guy who loves beer learning to love red wine. And he does.
And somebody else that we love to watch here at Sonoma, that's A.J. Allmendinger. Let's dial him up. A.J., this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, man.
Man, you are just so comfortable and confident when we come to a road course. I'm just curious, where do you create speed and opportunities on the track that we don't see others take advantage of?
Well, I mean, it's my nature. It's what I grew up doing between karting and through Champ Car. And I love being able to use the brake pedal and just the technique are able to do with that and how deep you can brake and modulate the brake pedal, downshift, things like that. It's what I grew up doing. It's what I love to do. And I get to my home track here in Sonoma and I feel real comfortable with it.
All right, buddy. Well, we're going to have some fun watching you. Get that thing to the end. You're in the top 5 of the end. I'm going to pick you to win.
Well, you have the confidence in me is all I need. We'll get this core and click the Chevy in victory lane, man. Just come celebrate with us after.
You got it. I love it. All right, take care. Me too. Yeah, and DW says him too. And Mike. All right, good luck.
He was fastest in first round of qualifying, but will start 5th. Down to our all-star Fox Pit reporters, beginning with Jamie Little.
Good afternoon, Mike. Well, Joey Logano and the 22 team has been the most consistent team of 2018. He's completed more laps than anybody else. I talked to Joey this morning about today. He said in order to keep that consistency going, in order to be there at the end, he needs to manage the aggressiveness from inside the race car. Be aggressive enough to get to the front, but not too much that you burn up your equipment early. Keep your eye on the 22. Matt Yoakum?
Jamie, Team Penske's first Cup win came on a road course in January of '73 with the late Mark Donohue driving a Matador. Brad Keselowski is chasing Donohue's all-time Penske major win mark of 59. He's 4 away to tie, 5 to own that record outright. But he told me that it would not be complete, that accomplishment, if he didn't score a victory on a road course. 3 times he has finished second and come close. He was 3rd here a year ago. The car is stout. He's hoping to make history today. Regan Smith.
Matt, Martin Truex Jr. is our most recent road course winner, winning at Watkins Glen last year, and had the car to beat at Sonoma, leading race high 25 laps before a blown engine. Yesterday in practice, he was the car everybody was looking at and pointing at, but at the end of happy hour, they got damage to the nose. The team stayed late to fix that nose, came early the next day. There's no ill effects from it, and everybody in the garage says, look out for this 78 car today. Larry Mack?
Yeah, Regan, the first 2 stages are 25 laps apiece. Certainly they're important. You can get stage points. You can get a stage win. But to win this race, it's about strategy in that final stage of 60 laps. The fuel window is about 38 to 42 laps, and as a crew chief, Right now, I have 4 different game plans. Possibly the game plan that won Kevin Harvick this race a year ago. Soon as that fuel window opened at the end, they pitted with about 40 laps to go and went the distance. You also could do what Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolfe did. They ended up finishing 3rd. They ran as far as they could. They pitted with 20 laps to go. And then Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens, they finished 5th. They split that final stage into thirds. Another option would be split the final stage in half. I think you will see all of these different game plans, but you know what? No different than Nick Saban. I have to be able to adjust that game plan based on my car's performance and other cautions coming out. Here's the race analysis. We talked about the stage links right there. Pit road speed 40 miles per hour. The fuel window 38 to 42 laps. The grip level a 1 to a 2. But Mike, I think off the corner under acceleration, the grip level is a 0.
Whoa, thanks. Only guy I know can work Alabama football reference into a lead into a race. Larry Mack. 160 feet of elevation change. The climb to the top. You go out, you come back, you go up, you go down. Let's have a lap around Sonoma.
Here we go, Mike. Down in there, start-finish line, down to out of turn 11. We turn 1 right there, little left turn up to the top of the hill, grab a gear, down the bottom of 3, up over 3A. Can't see a darn thing. Down to the bottom of turn 4, up on the curb. Like John Calipari, we're going to bounce over that curve, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, we're going to go into this hard braking turn 7, down to first gear, accelerate extremely hard as we go through the S's and down the hill, all the way up to 3rd, even 4th gear in that fast left-hander in turn 9, switch back to a fast right-hander, 3rd gear, turn 10, all the way to the hardest braking section in the slowest corner, down to first gear, and turn 11, and come back to the start-finish line.
Going through 9 from turn 10, right here, fastest point on the course, exiting 9, heading for turn 10. Going to 11, you have to knock 100 miles of speed out of the car and then gain it all back before you come to the start-finish line. Eric Jones, Michigan driver, last year's Rookie of the Year, will wear our Fox visor cam today. He's driving a Toyota, and there's one leading the field, the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE. It is today's pace car.
Mike, kind of funny, fastest turn 10 back here, trying to make a lot of time there, but down to the slowest turn, which fastest backed up by the slowest.
Martinsville mirror image, the paperclip.
Nervous times for these drivers. Not a lot of heat in the brakes and tires as they go through 1 and 2.
Well, let's just go boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in wine country, boys.
Kyle Larson can run some really fast laps around here. From the pole, he has the lead. If there's a concern, can he be consistent all day long?
Yeah, one thing I already see about that 42 car, that back end swinging out, that uses up those rear tires in a hurry, lose grip. He's going to lose spots when that happens.
And I think right behind him, somebody's trying to be real patient. Martin Truex Jr., I think he knows he has the long run speed. He has the acceleration and not as much wheel spin as some of these others. So he might let Kyle Larson get out there a little bit before he starts to pounce.
Yeah, he'll just let it come to him. He'll let that 42 slow a little bit. He'll keep the pace. It'll come to him.
Turn 4 across the chute to 7. This is Kyle Busch's onboard camera.
A little surprised we didn't see more speed in qualifying out of the 18 of Kyle Busch. We expect him to come to the front, but he's going to have a tough time doing that. through Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's car has shown some nice speed this weekend.
Well, it's an impound race, and I think that made a little bit of difference in some of these guys. You have to qualify the way you're going to start the race. So maybe some of those guys have a good race car, wasn't so much worried about qualifying.
Allmendinger up to third from fifth, beginning to close on this two-car lead battle.
I think already, Mike, you can see Truex there kind of looking around, looking for a spot, working out pounce.
Air pressures are coming up on these tires, so you're going to see the balance and grip change a lot over these first few laps.
Kyle Busch has passed Jimmy Johnson at turn 11. That braking zone is a great opportunity.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have a tough time, but he got off at turn 10 really good, meaning the 18 of Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson knew he was going to make that move and outbrake him into the corner, didn't fight with him too much.
Yeah, that's the experience of Jimmy Johnson, Mike. He knows it's early in the race. He knows that 18's aggressive. Let him go. Oh yeah, you see the left rear on the 20 car. Looks like a parachute hanging out back there. He's got
right side damage, left rear.
He's got a lot of damage to that car already.
It happened at turn 7.
Gosh.
Yeah, you see Michael McDowell trying to make a move, outbreak the 20 of Eric Jones going into turn 7, down to first gear there.
And Martin Truex has come to the front.
Surprise, surprise.
Textbook way of setting up a pass. We saw it with Kyle Busch. Great job with Martin Truex Jr. You get a good run through turn 10, and if you can stay close to them, they almost can't defend the outbreaking.
There's two really safe places to pass here, Mike. Into turn 11 and into turn 7. Those are your two prime passing spots.
Paul Menard about to fall into the clutches of Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch here.
Mike, you go pretty hard right now because you know this is as good as your car is going to be. So if you can set somebody up and get around them now, you know the pace is going to slow down, grip's going to become a premium, and so you got to really go hard.
That's turn 7. Meanwhile, the Dinger knocking on the door of second place. Now Kyle Larson. How about our pole sitter, Jamie?
Well, they mixed up their strategy this weekend, Mike. They focused only on race runs on Friday, no mock qualifying runs. He still got the pole, but they thought they had that rear end swinging around issue that they normally fight. They thought they had it under control, but now that the race has started, you guys noted it's moving around too much, especially through the S's, just too loose.
Larson's not giving up and finally has to give a car length at turn 1.
Did you see how far back A.J. Allmendinger was when he made that pass? I don't think that Kyle Larson thought there was any way he was going to be able to outbreak him into 11. I didn't even think Allmendinger got a great run through 10, but yet he can get into the corner so deep with so much confidence.
You know, my brother Michael said that A.J. would be leaving by lap 5. I said, oh, no way. Maybe a way.
There's the gap first to second. Martin Truex, your race leader. From A.J. Allmendinger, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Jamie McMurray. 4 laps complete in Sonoma. Coming up to complete 7 laps, Martin Truex, your leader. In about 5 seconds, A.J. Allmendinger made up about 4/10 of a second, which is huge. And then on the straightaways, Truex legs it out a bit. Kevin Harvick coming. Jamie Mack, 5th place now. Chase Elliott 4th, Kyle Larson the pole sitter 3rd, Allmendinger 2nd, and Truex the leader by 1.4 seconds. Who's the biggest mover in the race? No surprise, Clint Boyer from 19th to 12th.
Yeah, didn't qualify great. We expect him to be much further up in qualifying yesterday, so he's starting deep in the field, but no surprise he's coming forward.
I think you just keep an eye on the race cars. And those cars that are swinging that back end out, they're going to lose rear grip and they're going to slow down. Guys like Clint Boyer, you watch his car. Always accelerating straight forward, not sliding the rear around. That's important.
Kurt Busch has also gained a lot of ground. He started 23rd. He's up 5 spots. Cole Witt. Congratulations to Cole and Kendra, married during the off weekend. He's picked up 4 positions, as has Denny Hamlin in the number 11. Kevin Harvick has retaken 5th from Jamie McMurray up at turn 7.
Well, I feel like McMurray was pretty generous there. I think he knew he didn't get off in turn 4 very good, and Kevin got off in turn 4 a little bit better. Poked his nose in there, and McMurray said, you know, I'm not going to fight you right now.
Jeff, I think a lot of times you look in your mirror and you see who it is. You know Kevin Harvick's got a fast car. No need in trying to hold him up. He might get into you, cause you both to get in trouble.
And I think we saw the same thing with Kyle Larson and A.J. Allmendinger. As Allmendinger made that late braking move, I think Larson knew. A.J. Allmendinger is so good in the early stages of this race, so good in the braking zones. Not, you know, it's really just not worth it to fight that right now.
You saw the damage to the left rear of Eric Jones' car. Here's our Fox visor cam. You know, he's got a new line of t-shirts out with the saying, "That Jones boy."
Oh, he does.
Across the front.
Like
That's
that.
pretty cool.
Who came up with that? Really hard to get acceleration because of the wheel spin as you come here into the S's, left, then right. You want to clip that right side curve just a little bit. It's a blind exit as you come down the hill through turn 9 really fast here. This is one of the toughest parts of the racetrack because of the switchback. You go from leaning the car to on the right side back to the left side, and then you come down to this hard braking zone. A big bump there, really easy to wheel hop in the braking zone.
And look how slow. 33 miles an hour.
As that happened, Chase Elliott has gone around fellow Chevy driver Kyle Larson. Textbook move. Take away the inside in the braking zone.
Yeah, you just watch that 42 car, Mike. The back of that car is snapping out on him all the time. That's why he's losing spots.
And Larson was concerned about that. We heard him talk about that. And the 9 of Chase Elliott, as we see now, the 4 of Kevin Harvick coming forward, making another pass into turn 7. But Chase Elliott was pretty good earlier through practice. He's showing some nice long run speed now. 4 car does a nice little, I guess, bump and run there.
Well,
Squeeze play, let's say.
I've been watching Kevin Harvick. He has an awesome race car, and he is slowly picking his off one at a time.
Now, hang on. Didn't the 18 of Kyle Busch, wasn't he ahead of Jimmy Johnson not too long ago? I think this is the car that's really coming to the front. And no surprise when we think of how this season's unfolding. Martin Truex Jr. showed a lot of speed, but nobody's been more dominant than the 4 of Kevin Harvick, even when it comes to road courses.
Yeah, and Mike, when you get in a race, you get into what I call a rhythm. You kind of short shift, get the car, you go through the gears, get in that rhythm. You get a feel for what the car is doing, and then you try to do that lap after lap after lap.
Turn 3 and up to the highest part on the course. Turn 3A. Down the hill to turn 4. A.J. Allmendinger up to 2nd, but now he's losing a bit of ground to Martin Truex. He's fallen to 2.5 seconds back, and there goes Harvick to the inside, entering 7.
Well, he's got that move down, doesn't he?
Yeah, just one brick at a time, Mike.
So let's look at the lead gap and listen to what A.J. Allmendinger is talking about.
Losing too much grip, man. I've tried to save you as much as I can, but he's just driving away from me. I'm struggling here. Kind of losing the front more. Both ends a little bit, but front more.
Now look at turn 1.
Bad that lap.
Look at where those tire barrels are. Those stacks of tires are placed. They move them inboard of the painted serrations on the track to keep drivers further away from them. Drivers just change their line. They're still right next to the tire stacks.
It doesn't matter where they put them. You're going to rub them.
11 of 110 laps complete as Eric Jones goes for a big slide in turn 11.
9 years without a repeat winner. That just speaks volumes about the race itself.
The guys that run up front can tend to hold those spots, but just can't drive through guys anymore because everybody's game is so much more elevated.
It's a hard one to win. Everything has to go your way.
It's really a test of a race team and a race driver. And I think you've seen that by having 9 different race winners over the last 9 years.
There's Brad Keselowski in 9th place. The Penske cars started 8, 9, 10. And there's Kozlowski inside Jamie Mack.
Yeah, we've seen where Jamie McMurray seems to be struggling a little bit off of turn 4, and other cars have taken advantage of that and have been able to make that move that we just saw Kozlowski make.
13 laps complete. Truex leading Allmendinger by 3.5 seconds. Harvick another 1 second back. As we went to break, you saw Eric Jones with a big slide down in turn 11. Here's what it looked like from visor cam.
Man, you know, Mike, it was bad, and then it got real bad.
Matt?
Mike, a great visual there on board with the 20. I talked to Jason Shapiro, who is filling in for normal car chief Jason Overstreet, who was out due to suspension from that splitter at Michigan. He said simply, we have a really soft pedal, but right now he's managing it. Is it a concern? Yes, but not a major concern, but it is on our radar.
One of the things that stood out in that moment, you'll tend to get a little bit of wheel hop when you go to the brakes in turn 11. And when that happens, is we see a pass for second as before Kevin Harvick goes to the outside and by A.J. Allmendinger. But going back to the 20 of Eric Jones, what I saw kind of a rookie mistake, I know he's not a rookie, but is he went ahead and did the downshift and didn't do the rev match. And that's what really created problems. Here we go back to the for Kevin Harvick.
Now this is coming
Allmendinger.
Down to 4.
Well, AJ, he just knew.
Jamie?
And just before that pass was made, A.J. Allmendinger in the 47 said he's fighting tight and losing grip. Then Kevin Harvick went around, he got on the radio, he said, he's got better everything.
Yes, but get A.J. Allmendinger in that position with 5:10 to go on a restart, watch out.
Brad Keselowski now ahead of Kyle Larson and up to 7th as Boyer chases the pole sitter through turn 1.
And Mike, this is exactly what the 42 Kyle Larson were worried about. Did the same thing last year, started on a pole, didn't have a very good car in the race, and it looks like it's back and it's doing the same thing again this year.
Out of turn. Yep.
By the 14 of Boyer to take advantage of that lack of grip and the rear tire spin by Kyle Larson.
Martin Truex Jr. led the most laps here last year. Looks like a repeat. Regan?
Well, Mike, the only cause for concern for this team was the fact that their last practice run did get cut short by that contact that I talked about earlier on in the show. After that got done, they didn't get to make a 10-lap run like they were anticipating on that run. Right now, though, he's all quiet on the radio. He likes the race car.
Well, Cole Pearn, his crew chief, used to race road courses in CASCAR in Canada. And so he's a wheelman with road course experience. And boy, they have had the setup to beat here at least the last couple of years.
Tell you what, all the crew chiefs, I love them all in the garage, but if I had to pick one that I wanted to work with, it'd be that guy right there. Sharp, calm, cool. I like what he does.
Boyer passes Keselowski for 7th.
And Mike, right now, as you heard him say, about 15, 20 laps is when you really got to be on your game. Tires start to give up a little bit. That's when Boyer, everybody tells me that what makes him so good on a road course, tire management.
Matt?
And when you talk to Mike Bugaravich, who won here 2 years ago at Tony Stewart, he feels like Clint Boyer really is off of everyone's radar as being a great road racer. Go back to last year, he said. We went from the back to the front 3 different times. He got spun, got swept up again, had that pit road penalty, but really it's a testament not only to Boyer, but his ability to manage the equipment. Finished 2nd last year, on the move now.
Jimmy Johnson and teammate Chase Elliott.
I'll tell you what, don't count that 48 out today. I just like the way he looked all day in practice, qualified well. Chad Knaus and him, they make some of those magical calls. Don't count that 48 out.
And you see on the right side of the screen, Clint Boyer moving through the field again, goes by Kyle Busch.
And Mike, if he should win today, what would that do for him?
Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah.
Put him in the playoffs.
Put him in the playoffs, but would also tie him with Bobby Allison and DW for 84 wins, which he's been trying to do since Michigan last year.
So our Bernsey Award winner, Jimmy Johnson, moves up to 4th place. Toyota, Ford, and 3 Chevrolets in the top 5. Here's three drivers who were all in the K&N support race yesterday. Alex Bowman lost an engine. Eric Almirola finished second. William Byron in the 24 finished third yesterday. And I asked William this morning, how did that help you for today? He said, well, the horsepower, the transmissions of those cars are so different from these. These cars have so much power. But as far as getting my bearings and knowing where I'm going, it was a big help.
I think this is the toughest track to come to as a rookie without any experience. So the more lap time you can get, the better.
Truex the leader, Boyer moving up, pole sitter Larson now back in 9th place. Welcome back to the Toyota Savemart 350 on FS1. Martin Truex Jr. leads the race. He's our Toyota top performer with Kyle Busch in 8th, Denny Hamlin 11th, Daniel Suarez, who also competed yesterday, in 16th. And there's Kyle Busch with, whoa, a handful of Ganassi Racing off the right bow.
Mike, something I'm finding really interesting right now. We saw it with A.J. Allmendinger. We saw it with Kyle Larson where they really faded. And then we saw some other cars come forward like Kevin Harvick. Clint Boyer, I thought Kyle Busch was going to do that, but now we're starting to see him fade again.
Yeah, I tell you, a guy that's really made a lot of moves out of 11 cars, way up.
Hamlin moves up to 10. All right, Larry, we're 20 laps in with 5 to go in this stage. What could happen now?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a couple of different things happen, Mike. If you're here to win the race, which I think you look at guys that know they've got cars that can win that race like Truex and Harvick. Harvick did it a year ago. I think they will pit at lap 23 before they close pit road. Now, if you're thinking, okay, this is a good opportunity for me just to get stage points or maybe win the stage, you're going to run it to the end. But the one thing about it, if you're going to pit with 2 to go before the stage ends and they close pit road, you have to be within about 13 seconds of the leader. If not, you're going to have to pit with 3 to go. So we got 2 or 3 different things I think that could sort out here.
Right, the entrance to pit road, you'll see it coming up on the left here before turn 11. So it's a long entrance to pit road as Keselowski goes to 5th place. Speaking of strategy, here's Kurt Busch and company.
We'll have to make a quick decision on pitting. We're going to get buried 25th again if we stay out. Yes, copy that.
Yeah, I think they have to come in, like Larry was saying. Now, he's further back, so he has to come with 3 to go, or he'll, if he tries to wait till 2 to go, he's not going to make it because the leader will be at the line when they shut pit road with 2 to go.
Kurt Busch was fastest in practice, did not have a good qualifying run, started 23rd. He has gained 10 positions.
And the driver input right now is important because if the car needs to be, if you need to pit to make the car better, then you want to pit now.
Guys, from Keselowski on back, if you're going to pit before the stage ends, you have to come now. You have to come this lap, or you can't make it.
I'm confident the 18 of Kyle Busch is coming. He's got a big problem. He's really lost a lot of positions.
He's dropped back to 15th after starting 9th and moving up. And we're told that Busch will head for pit road this time. Next time around, pit road will close. Hamlin, McMurray, Logano, and Kurt Busch in the pit lane, and others. Green flag stops.
See, this is the advantage of Kevin Harvick making up so much ground on the leader. He can come the next lap. Regan?
Well, Kurt Busch hits pit road. They were really excited about this car. It was wearing the fronts more than the rears in practice, but that has not stood true in the race right now. He's loose and needs more grip on exit. Matt?
And Denny Hamlin is in. Remember back in qualifying, he felt like he threw away his qualifying lap up in turn 4. That's been the issue thus far during this session. The car on the free side, air pressure change. Jamie?
Joey Logano just tight in 4. He said the tires have gone away about 10 laps ago. It just stopped turning. He's been working on that track bar to help him. It's a 4-tire stop. Ryan Blaney, his teammate, in as well.
You're watching Martin Truex and Kevin Harvick come through turn 10. Will they pit? Yes. Last chance to pit before pit road is closed when the leader gets to the start-finish line. Here's Regan.
Well, much like last year, crew chief Cole Pern said he would call this race to win it, not to score stage points at the early part of it. His race car too loose. He needs some rear grip on that right now.
Now the advantage to him stopping now, the leader hasn't got, just there, Allmendinger gets to the start-finish line. That expands the window of drivers to pit now.
Harvick is in, Mike. His car really on a rail. The first tank gone in. White's put in the second in. Great stop by Maycroft. And Smith on the guns, and he is away.
Clint Boyer exits. It's going to be a drag race down pit road.
I think Harvick has the inside lane. That's going to be the advantage.
Nah, pushed him out. Harvick pushed Truex out a little bit.
Guys, if you're one of these drivers that just pitted, you don't want to abuse these tires because you're going to stay out when they end this stage.
Well, I'm really surprised A.J. Allmendinger decided to stay out here. I know they probably need the points. The playoff point would be great for him. Stage points.
And Truex takes that position right back from Kevin Harvick on new tires. They are 12th and 13th.
I think what we saw in the, but this for those guys pitted, the 4 is good on the long run. He really makes up good time over the long haul.
And as you know, DW, that means you're going to give up something, so he must be giving up some of that speed in the early stages of a run.
Yeah, you can see it right here. They came out of the pit side by side, and already the 78 is a gap to 4 just a little bit.
So now that will shuffle the top 10 to end stage 1 down to Casey Kane, who's in position to get the last point right now from Michael McDowell.
Yeah, and Mike, I think it's so important to recognize that a lot of these guys need stage points, and that's why they're staying out. It's an opportunity for them to get some stage points.
Well, so nobody told Truex that this stage was about to end. He's on it. He just passed Michael McDowell for 11th. He may get a point here at the end of this stage.
But he's using up his tires. While he does that, I would want to save as much of these tires as possible for when we end this stage and go back green.
I actually like the way his car was, though, Jeff. It was really good up until the last few laps before they pitted. So I think he's okay.
Final lap, stage 1. Allmendinger with a 4-second lead on Keselowski and Johnson. And up at turn 7, one car has come to a halt. That's Cody Ware, but he is off the track in the bus stop or car line, and they'll take him off track at the stage break. So we'll stay green. And for the first time, A.J. Allmendinger is a stage winner. 2.5 ahead of Brad Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson 8 seconds back.
Okay, Mike.
Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson.
You take that as AJ in the 40-17. Let's build on that. We got us a stage win. Now let's build on that.
And Martin Truex Jr. backed it off. He finishes up in 11th. Casey Kane gets the final point in stage 1. Ring the bell for the dinger. He's our stage 1 winner.
Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
We're at the end of stage 1 in Sonoma. Of the first 21 cars, only 2 have pitted. Truex in 11th and Harvick in 13th. Boyer and Hamlin also pitted, but they let everybody go by, and they're back in 22nd and 3rd. With Logano in 24th, they will move up as the rest of the field comes to pit road. Regan?
Jimmy Johnson heads to the very first pit stall. It's a tricky angle for the driver to get into, so he has to swing it wide to make sure he can angle out. Right now his race car is too tight, turning through the rights, and turn 9 in particular. Matt?
And Brad Keselowski turns left in his pit box, just past the dogleg, the first box in that section. He was saying he was losing lateral grip. They talked about making a chassis adjustment. They didn't, just going for an air pressure change on the deuce. Jamie?
A.J. Allmendinger in the 47 said he needs everything to last longer. The tires went away so bad he could barely turn the car. Big air pressure adjustment here, a wedge adjustment as well, and a 4-tire stop. There's that adjustment for the dinger. He's down.
Here's the race off pit road, fueled by Sunoco. Brad Keselowski picks up a spot. Chase Elliott 2. And Allmendinger goes back 4 positions. Had some adjustments to make there, as long as a fresh set of Goodyears.
Let's see what AJ thinks about the situation here. Hey, AJ, it's TW. You got me, buddy?
I got you, man.
Hey, but some of the front cars, some of the leaders there chose to pit. You guys stayed out. They got you a stage win. How you feel about your car now?
Early on speed's really good with the Cord Slickly Chevy. Definitely Kevin and the 78. Look like Clint behind me a little bit as well. Probably have a little bit longer run speed.
All right, brother. Well, congratulations on that stage win, and tune that baby up and get her on up there.
I think we got a decent car. Definitely got to improve on it to have a chance to win this thing.
After pit stops, Allmendinger sits 17th, but he is the winner of stage 1, his first stage win of the season. All weekend long, fans have had some fun stopping by the Xfinity Zone here at Sonoma Raceway. Spin the wheel, win a prize, have some fun. Courtesy of Xfinity.
Oh, come on, let's go. Let's get this thing going again. Come on, let's get them going again. Brett, my ice cream's melting.
So the first 12 cars on this restart stopped at either lap 23 or 22. From Brad Keselowski back in 13th, everybody stopped at the end of the stage. Here we go as drivers approach the Geico restart zone.
Every time I see that shot, I'm amazed they make it through there.
Everybody's being nice. Everybody's being nice to each other. I can tell you that right now.
One of the things that makes these restarts so incredibly difficult is you got the preferred inside lane, but then you go right into a right-hand turn, then a left-hand turn, so it changes every 100, 200 feet.
Here comes Kyle.
Well, look at Keselowski with those fresh tires.
I think the 9 was trying to block. The 9 was trying to block, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, you're
Four wheels corner better than 12.
Oh yeah.
You're going to see those fresh tires of those guys. They're going to eat up some of those cars like Austin Dillon, some of those that decided to come in. Just even 2 laps on tires makes a huge difference here.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, they're going to do a lot of eating to catch that 78 because I don't care, he's just really, really good. I think Harvick's better maybe on the long run as they get near the end of the stage, but early in this run, 78 is great.
4th place. And now back at 7th. Regan.
Well, Adam Stevens made huge changes to this race car overnight. Wasn't sure what to expect at the beginning because they were only average in practice that first run. Kyle simply burnt the rear tires off. We saw him falling back towards the end of it. It was just a lack of rear tires at the end of that run.
Keselowski just got moved. Racing for 12th place. Just ahead of Larson and behind Austin Dillon.
I think Larson's going to go as hard as he can and hope it'll last a little longer than it did when we started.
Well, an air pressure adjustment in those rear tires here is huge. I mean, it does so much for lateral acceleration and allows the car to last longer. So I'm sure a lot of these crew chiefs dropped a lot of pressure on those rear tires.
And Mike, you don't realize when you come down turn 4 and hit that curb and you jump over in that wall, you're staring straight into that wall. That's a little bit of a scary moment.
Oh, I see. Keselowski was trying to get to the inside of Austin Dillon, unsuccessful.
You could grow grapes where he went, trying to get to the inside.
Not a good day to play in the dirt.
There goes Keselowski to the inside of Austin Dillon, making that late braking move and then accelerate off of the corner. But the 3 of Austin Dillon not giving it up that easy.
And remember, Dillon's on 5 laps older tires than Keselowski.
And that's why I don't know if I agree with that scenario or that strategy, because even though you have fresher tires, you have to come through so many cars and use those tires up to try to get back the positions and the track, position that you lost.
Yeah, the only way you can really gain, Mike, you got to be aggressive. Got to overdrive a little bit. That abuses the tires.
Well, let's talk tires, or rather, let's listen. Here's the dinger to the inside of Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, AJ, it's definitely camber. The left front's corded all the way around the inside, and the right front's not cords, but it's worn all the way down. That's it for us, so not much we're going to be able to do with that, are we? Just taking air pressure out of it will help that.
See, that's the input from a driver. They make that observation, and they know they can make an adjustment and make that car better.
And he's been fighting a tight race car all weekend long, and one of the greatest tools is more camber to allow that car to turn. 18, Kyle Busch goes by Jamie McMurray.
Oh, they'll get that 18 car tuned up. They get that rear grip. They get that little air pressure adjustment. He's not done.
He is 6 seconds back of the lead at closing. Kyle Busch was one of those dozen cars that came in at lap 22 and 3 before the end of stage 1. How about a little gear jamming with Kevin Harvick?
One of the best. Such a great race car driver all the way around, even on these road courses. There's down to first gear, so he carried second gear off of turn 4. Stretched out to second, quick into third. He'll probably stay in third through this left and right-hander. Carries third, almost to the rev chip. Now, I like something I heard Kevin Harvick do as he went down to first gear there. He waited. He was on the brakes for a very long time. Completely different than what we heard out of Eric Jones earlier, where he tried to go down to the downshift very early in the braking zone.
Yeah, you're supposed to use the brakes to stop the car, not the gearbox. That's just an assist to slow the car down.
Now, I think Kevin Harvick carries second gear here, so he's probably third gear on the front straightaway at the start-finish line, and then down to second gear. Second gear all the way through this section. Oh, no. That sounds terminal.
Sounds like it's not running.
That's on me, guys.
Jamie?
AJ had just come on the radio. He said, guys, I blew it up.
You know what's interesting about that? He said, I blew it up.
Means he must have missed a shift?
Probably did.
Well, that's a shame, because he is fun to watch, and being stopped on track. No indication of a yellow flag yet as the leaders come around. There's the caution.
Yeah, they got to be a caution. He's sitting up here on the racetrack.
First caution flag of the day for an incident. Let's look and listen. Well, we call that the money shift. You're trying to go from second to third, and you get first instead. Jamie McMurray also limping around course. We're under caution in Sonoma. A.J. Allmendinger came into Sonoma knowing this was his best chance to score a win and make the chase for JTG Doherty Racing. A missed shift has ended his day, and his teammate Jamie McMurray said he hit the rev limiter, the engine shut off, and no oil pressure. Excuse me, not his teammate, but McMurray in another Chevrolet is being pushed back toward the garage.
Mike, with Allmendinger, you just see in his body language.
Yes.
So disappointed. I'm sure disappointed himself, but also just knew this was a golden opportunity, and it got away.
Now, Allmendinger's teammate Chris Buescher just made a pit stop. So did Michael McDowell. They were the only ones to come in. Before we go green, let's join Matt Yoakum down at the eBay Motors pit box.
Roster limits in 2018 make the Jackman even more valuable as a multitasker. His equipment more high tech. Most teams have migrated to the carbon fiber jack handle. Numerous advantages, the biggest weight savings. At 3 pounds, it's twice as light as a steel handle. It allows the jackman to pick up a couple tenths running back and forth around the car, helping the changer index the right front and left rear wheel. Also, the shorter handle means less flex, getting the car up in the air faster with more torque. And also, if you happen to be a little too close to the wall, you've got more clearance to get the car up in the air. The late Banjo Matthews once said, "Money buys speed, how fast do you want to go?" This baby runs around $700 to $1,000.
You can shop every part for every ride at ebay.com/motors. 35 laps complete, and our first 9 drivers all stop back at lap 22 or 3. Keselowski is the first car on newer tires stopping at the end of stage 1. There's the 2018 Toyota Camry XSE that paces the field, and up front it will be Martin Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick on this restart.
Yeah, right behind them, I think the biggest gainer on that pit strategy before the stage end, Kurt Busch. He was stalled back there in about 12th to 13th. Look at him now, right there in the hunt for 4th.
Yeah, another guy too is the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He's made a nice charge to the front.
Green flag.
Kurt really leaning on Boyer right there.
Yeah, he leaned on Boyer going up the hill, and then Boyer leaned on him through turn 2.
So I'm
They're not done
take
yet.
That spot back.
You know what that is? That's no wins trying to beat 2 wins. I don't care teammates or not.
And this is so Boyer have the inside advantage, but the 41 can fight back and keep the momentum on the outside. It's exactly what he does. Now can he outbrake Kurt Busch going into 7?
Behind them, Busch Logano, same story, second verse.
Boy, Hamlin, yeah, Hamlin tried to take advantage of that.
I like the way Boyer hung in there. He didn't give up. He knows the racetrack. He knew when he got down to turn 4, that wall was going to be in Kurt Busch's way.
And he also knows he's already going to have to battle with one teammate, Kevin Harvick, right ahead of him. Doesn't want to have to deal with 2.
Well, the 3 Penske cars all started together. They're all running together. 7th, 8th, and 9th, Logano, Blaney, Keselowski.
Well, remember we watched Blaney in practice, how he was up on every curve. I mean, we gave him the Air Award. He was higher than anyone. But I noticed in qualifying, and I noticed in the race, he's backed that way down. He's not using those curves near as aggressively, and I think it's paying off.
Yeah, some of that, Darrell, could be setup. If they went with a setup that lowered the car down and kept that splitter a little bit lower for the higher speed sections, maybe he has to stay off those curbs.
Look at all that curb climbing. How does that help you at turn 7?
Yeah, when you get into the braking zone, that right front tire gets really light as you turn into the corner. So anything you can do to put some pressure or load that tire up, it's going to help the car turn.
This kind of releases the car. It just lets it release and go where you want it to.
Does it feel as awkward as it looks?
No. I mean, it didn't.
No, because when you're going, please hook, and then you get to the curb and it turns, you go, thank goodness I hooked that curb.
And Mike, you never realize how high in the air you get. It doesn't feel that way in the car.
Penske and the Hendrick cars, 3 of them, all bottled up together, Jamie.
Speaking of curb hopping, the 12 of Ryan Blaney on Friday made our highlight reel, and he was well aware of it. He told me this morning, I am going to be very cognizant today. I do not want to be the man jumping the biggest air. So they want to focus on this race, focus on the car, and he feels like they made gains from a year ago. The setup exactly the same. They made some adjustments on that last stop, and it's paying off.
He's running 9th.
What I like about Blaney, he said, I'm having fun. And that's important, Mike, to have fun on a racetrack. Enjoy what you're doing. You'll get a better result.
Pretty good battle going on here between the 11 of Denny Hamlin. As you see another battle among teammates. Keselowski coming up through there on his teammate, Joey Logano. But the 11 of Denny Hamlin and the 41 of Kurt Busch have been going at it the last couple of laps.
Danny keeps looking. He just hasn't gotten close enough to stick that nose inside.
Maybe he'll put a Tony Stewart move on him.
Matt.
He has a win at the Glen, looking for a win here at Sonoma. And Denny told me that he really loves road course racing, especially here with this tire because of the extreme fall off over the course of the run. It puts more input into what he can do with the race car, the steering, the throttle, the braking, the tire management. He loves the fact that he can decide his fate.
He's working hard on Kurt Busch. Meanwhile, big dust cloud down at 11. That's where Brad Keselowski put a couple of wheels off at turn 10, but continued. You know, I'm starting to think the windshield wiper is a good idea here. Not for rain, but for the dust.
Well, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I haven't seen any of them move.
There goes Brad. Oh, 4 off.
Wow.
And a big way.
Nice job of keeping it on track. I barely even lost any time.
Yikes!
We'd rather call this grass cam, but not today.
That's amazing.
Digger's back?
He is.
That can ruin your whole day right there.
Reared his head for a second.
Jimmy Johnson against teammate Alex Bowman. Regan.
Well, another one of those drivers that got the opportunity to run the K&N race yesterday was Alex Bowman. He blew a motor in that race, but he also spent a lot of time on the simulator this week. Crew Chief Greg Ives told me that's paying dividends right now. He's moved up to 13th from his 17th starting spot.
Running well there. Here's the lead battle. Kevin Harvick got right to Truex's bumper, entering turn 11, but no lead change. Before things change again, how about a quick word from Duracell?
This is the #1 trusted brand.
40 laps complete. Truex, Harvick, Boyer, Hamlin, Kyle Busch working well up to 5th place now. All the top 7 stopped back at lap 22 and 3. Keselowski is still the first car on newer tires, along with Chase Elliott 8th and 9th.
Yeah, and there's like 9 different winners in there, but there's 6 of those winners are right now in the top 6. So guys that know, you learn this place. Jeff's talked about it a dozen times. You get comfortable here, you learn this place, and it really pays off.
I really like the position that Kevin Harvick is in right now. I would much rather be in that position where I'm stalking him. I'm seeing where his weaknesses are, and I'm putting pressure on him to make a mistake to make that pass. I'm also learning for later what kind of adjustments I might need to my race car or things I might need to do as a driver that can get me a car or in position to win this race.
10 laps to go in stage 2. Martin Truex leading Kevin Harvick by 4 car lengths. We have a new leader in Sonoma. Here's how it happened coming to turn 11.
Yeah, you see Kevin Harvick kind of equal to the speed off of turn 10 in that right-hander, but boy, does he get into turn 11 with a lot of speed, gets position, takes advantage of that inside lane, accelerates to the front straightaway. Truex doesn't put up too much of a fight.
7 laps to go in stage 2. Our aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR, showing us turn 7 and the S's at Sonoma. There's your lead battle. First and second, A.J. Allmendinger in the garage with Jamie Little.
Well, he got his first stage win of the year, and now he ends his day in the garage early. What led to the missed shift there?
Me. I don't know. I haven't missed a shift on a road course in 10 years. Just me. I was trying to be so patient, so smooth with it. Just was unexpected. It's on me. I let everybody down here. Just can't thank Kroger and Clickless enough and my guys. The car was good. I don't know if it was race winning. We kept needing to work on the long run, but just on me. I don't know what else to say. I just let everybody down.
That is heartbreaking.
Well, I think that tells you, his tone tells you how important, as we see Bubba Wallace goes around in turn 11.
Mike, I think that what made it so tough for AJ, this is a race that he looks forward to. This is a race he knows he can win. And I think that's what made it so gut-wrenching for him.
Bubba Wallace started this race third to last. He has not had a good time at Sonoma, especially in turn 1, but let's see what happens here at turn 11.
Yeah, he's trying to make a pass. I'm pretty sure that was probably a wheel hop. Got in the braking zone, got on those brakes, and those rear tires started chattering. Maybe even tried to do the downshift, and around it went.
Bubba's had a tough week, boys.
But he kept it out of the fence, so
yep.
No harm, no foul. And no caution.
Back running 34th of 38 is Wallace. Only 3 cars off track. They could not fix Jamie McMurray's car. A.J. Allmendinger blew up, and Cody Ware is also in the garage area. There is McMurray. Jamie?
Well, you see Jamie just taking his driving gloves off. They have been working on the front of this car, an oil pump issue. They thought they could fix it. Matt McCall, his crew chief, said they were trying hard. Now I see them talking. It looks like he is telling Jamie there is no chance. Helmet is off. He's getting out. His day is done.
Thanks, Jamie McMurray, veteran road racer in go-karts. Battle for 11. Bowman, Almirola, Logano, Newman.
Almirola just kind of took it to Logano there, was able to make that pass. Now he's looking in the back of the 88 car here. Might get him next.
He led a lot of the K&N race yesterday and finished second, getting some valuable seat time, driving for Bill Denbesti and Fred Biaggi.
Well, guys, we're getting to that point again here. We've got 5 laps to go in stage 2. I have to believe Harvick, Truex Jr., and Clint Boyer, they're thinking race win. I think they will come when there's 2 to go in this stage right here. And right now, only about the top 6 could come with 2 to go before they close pit road. Everyone else from Chase Elliott on back, they're going to have to come the next time, which will be 3 to go. I truly believe you want to pit before the stage end, unless you're just somebody that knows you can't win the race and you're just trying to get stage points.
So, Larry, what do those first 3 have in common? They all have wins.
They all have wins. Yes, they do.
How about Kevin Harvick? What a difference a year makes. Last year, Harvick came to Sonoma looking for his first win of the season. This year, he's trying for his 6th victory.
He has certainly been the class of the field at the majority of the races so far this year. Continues that here in the Sonoma.
I just love the maturity of Kevin Harvick. Kind of wild and crazy back a few years ago. Settled down, went over here with Rodney Childers and Tony Stewart and that whole crowd, and has he put together a program. He is on his game. Rodney's doing a great job in the pits, and they got the equipment to get it done with.
Kyle Busch chasing teammate Denny Hamlin. They are 4th and 5th, 11 and 12 seconds off the lead.
And certainly whatever air pressure adjustments that Adam Stevens made, it's certainly paying off on this run. We're not seeing him fade like he was before.
Kind of Suarez had a big slide and got cut no slack from teammate Eric Jones there. Michael McDowell moving in. And McDowell has gained 16 spots since the restart in that 34. Here's a look at it.
So easy to wheel hop, lose the rear tires going into turn 7.
Pretty sure that's what happened.
Man, that was an aggressive braking move there.
All right, Kurt Busch is in, so is Joey Logano as we close in on the end of stage 2. Jones also stopping, so a number of takers here. Paul Menard, Jamie.
And a big change being called for the 22. Joey Logano, they want to add a spring rubber in the right rear. They'll put on 4 fresh sticker tires and fill them up with fuel. Car has been decent, definitely some handling issues. Making a wedge adjustment, you saw it there in the rear window for the 22, guys.
The Dillon brothers both stopped. Ty and Austin. Suarez is in. David Reagan, William Byron, Trevor Bayne, Ricky Stenhouse, and here come the leaders. With 3 to go in the stage. Top 3, Harvick, Truex, Boyer pitting. Regan.
Oh, Martin Truex Jr. heads to his pit stall. This is a very similar setup that they ran last year, which was good on old tires. The problem right now is though he's sliding the front tires and spinning the back too much. He can't get off turn 7 in particular. Matt?
And Harvick comes to a stop in his pit box, much like the first run. No adjustments being called for the 4. Trying to go back-to-back for the first time since your guy up in the booth there, Jeff Gordon, Mike. Tires going on, and he's away.
Denny Hamlin assumes the lead. Chase Elliott 3.5 back. Jimmy Johnson now 5.7. And Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney. That's your top 5.
And remember, that pit road is closed now, so all these drivers, we know exactly what their pit strategy is going to be at the end of this stage.
Apparently they're thinking they want to attack the last stage of this race, the 60-lap stage, a little bit differently. They did these first shorter stages.
Kyle Busch, one of those that pitted before pit road closed. The final stage here, 60 laps after 25 laps in each of the first 2 stages. Jamie?
And Jamie McMurray, we talked about his day. We heard you say the system just kind of shut down. It doesn't look like you guys can fix it today. What led to that, Jamie?
Yeah, so our system, Chevy, the oil pump mechanism broke, and when it loses oil pressure, the engine shuts off. But you can turn the ignition off and kind of trick the system to get it back to the pits. And I think they're a little worried now that maybe the engine ran a little too long without oil pressure. So they're going to bore scope the engine. So our day's done. That's pretty frustrating.
Thanks, Jamie.
Kevin Harvick, after making his pit stop, has really slowed down his race pace. He is just cruising around to keep the good in those tires for stage 3.
And it worked for him and for Boyer at the end of that last stage. So I think that's a good strategy.
Little points racing going on here, boys.
8th, 9th, and 10th. Mike Casey Kane, who overcame a speeding penalty on his first pit stop, as did Greg Galding. Kane in 11th, 1 spot away from the points.
And McDowell pitted on that last caution. He's got a little bit fresher tires, and you know, for the 34 McDowell, the 37 to Buescher, stage points are huge for these teams.
Yeah, Mike, because we've only had 6 winners. Some people are going to point their way into the playoffs.
Sorry, also Buescher also pitted on that last caution, both of these cars.
Looking like a strong day for front row up there. Michael McDowell in 8th spot. So we're going to finish off stage 2 with the green and white checkered flag, and it's going to wave over Denny Hamlin, who is looking for his first Sonoma victory.
And the first victory of this year. He needed those points.
Chase Elliott second, Johnson, Keselowski, Blaney, Bowman, and Almirola. McDowell leads Buescher across the line, and Ryan Newman gets the final point in stage 2. Give it to the Virginian, Denny Hamlin, stage 2 winner. They had dueling pianos out here yesterday afternoon to entertain the fans, so we can do likewise. Little curb hopping, little road racing, little agricultural racing. Yeah, this is Sonoma. We love it here. How you keep your cool on an 82-degree day. And enjoy some great racing. Sit on the hillside, sit on the new grandstands, kind of set into the hillsides. Watch your favorite stars go around.
It's quite a duel going on between varying strategies right now.
Got that right. Everybody who didn't just pit is on pit road. Regan.
Well, crew chief Chad Knaus was very excited to have a racetrack where tire fall off was going to be huge. Thought it would play right to their hand today. Initially, this car fires off 2 limbs, but its rear grip was better on this run. Matt Yoakum.
And Denny Hamlin, who's finished in the top 4 of the last 4 road course races, gets a clean tear off from Sean Curlin, the interior specialist. Dustin DeCase and Michael Hicks already around to the left side. He said the car was looser overall, but tighter down in turn 11, Jamie, with all the rubber buildup.
Ryan Blaney worked his way up to 5th. Needs help turning to the right. Air pressure adjustment in the right front, the right rear. Little tape on the grill and 4 tires.
There's your Sunoco race off, led by Chase Elliott. Johnson and Keselowski each pick up a spot. So they're going to be about 17th on back. Remember when Bubba Wallace spun and we thought, oh, well, he's out of it. He finished stage 2 in 19th because some of those leaders pitted. There's only one car that's any laps down. Cody Ware.
Well, why don't we dial up our stage winner there, Denny Hamlin. Hey, Denny, this is Jeff up in the booth. You got me? Well, congrats on that stage win. I'm curious, you know, we just saw some of the other leaders come in. You guys stayed out, a lot of varying strategies here. Walk us through what you and Wheels are up to on this strategy.
Well, once we get the fourth there, I kind of identified.
Uh-oh.
Let's get. And this time we got a fourth place car, so you might as well take the points that we can.
So if that broke up at home, he said, we've got a fourth place car. We're trying to work something alternate and see if we can do better.
All right, good luck with that. Thank you.
Yep. Talk to you next time.
You do the dialing, we'll do the interpretation. Hey, Denny Hamlin is our winner of stage 2 in Sonoma.
Losing too much grip, man. He's just driving away from me. I'm struggling here. He's flipping me off. Ah! He's pissed off that we already passed him. Blew it up. That's on me, guys. Not much we're going to be able to do with that, are we?
Tough day for some, exciting race for others. Denny Hamlin, winner of stage number 2. But because of the pit stops, he will start 20th because 16 drivers stopped before the end of the stage, and they will line up front. How about our pole sitter, Kyle Larson?
I just don't understand how I can not race hard, try and take care of my tires, and still be the worst car on a long run here every single year. I don't understand.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
Larson will restart 26th.
I can so relate to that. I've been here before where I had a good car on the short run, and I thought if I just go easy, I'll have a much better car on the long run. Doesn't happen. I think Kyle Larson's just going to have to go as hard as he can.
Through the Geico restart zone to the green flag, around turn 1 and up the hill.
Truex has got his hands full this time. He's got Harvick pulling out front, and you got Boyer trying to get around you, so he's got his hands full of those short Haas cars, and there's a 41 right there with him.
Yeah, look at the brothers battling it out.
Mike, I think that's when you know that this is an amazing team, when they can win anywhere, including a road course. And I'm talking about Stuart Haas.
Now, hang on, guys. Is that Eric Jones in 6th place there?
It is, because he stopped back at lap 47.
What a great recovery.
16 drivers stopped before the end of stage 2 to position themselves up front for the final stage.
Yeah, his car, I mean, we heard wheel hop. He's got a lot of, Eric Jones got a lot of damage to the car, but because of good pit strategy, not in too bad a shape right now.
The only one of the Gibbs Toyotas that did not stop before the end of the stage was Hamlin, the stage winner.
Mike, look at his hand. Look how much wheel you have to put in the car to get around that really tight hairpin right there. You really have to crank on that wheel.
It's a great battle up front there. I think Truex has a little bit better short run car than Kevin Harvick, and he wants to get up there and try to mix it up with him, maybe get that track position, cause Kevin Harvick to burn those tires up a little bit more for that longer run.
I just don't see you rattling Kevin Harvick's cage very much. He's a solid guy, and he knows what he knows how hard to push it.
Quit worrying about saving anything, and it was pretty hard on my tires. A couple corners, I just feel like my front end's kind of bound up, and then I just spin the tires more as I run. Pulling them a little free today, which has been good. 7, 8, and 8A, and 10. My front end's like bound up through the middle of them. It's weird. My tires are kind of rough and grinding through there after a long run.
That's Martin Truex. Chase Elliott is flying. He's picked up 5 positions since the restart.
Yeah, he's one of those cars that has fresher tires, so he's able to pick off some of these cars pretty easily. And I think he's got a good long run race car also.
Yeah, I think he's got a good top 10 car. Top 5 maybe, what I've seen with his practice and qualifying.
Chasing David Reagan up the hill. Austin Dillon just behind in the 3.
So the way I see this playing out is those guys that came into pit that stayed out at the stage and got those stage points, they're going to stretch this out. This stays green a little bit longer. Then when they come to pit under green, they'll have a little bit fresher tires towards the end of this race. If for any reason that caution comes out, those fresher tires could gain them more positions.
Saw a little smoke going up the hill from Ryan Blaney's car. He's having a look inside of Chris Buescher. Nothing there.
Maybe he got up on one of those curbs again, because we saw him pretty high in practice.
Racing Greg Galding, that is for position. And there might be an issue with second stage winner Denny Hamlin. Matt?
Half a lap ago, Mike, he came on the radio and said, I believe I've got a right front tire going down. The changers and crew guys all jumped up on the wall with their helmets at the ready. The spotter, Chris Lambert, said it looked to him the tire was fine, possibly just low air pressure. Starting out gave him the sensation it was going down.
Hamlin does not pit. He stays on track in 19th place. He's gained about 3 spots since we restarted.
Yeah, when that air pressure is low, not only do you compress and maybe hit that splitter a little bit harder, but you just don't have some of the side grip at the very beginning when that pressure is real low.
53 laps to go. Kevin Harvick out front. Kevin Harvick leads Martin Truex Jr., Clint Bowyer, and the Busch brothers with 51 laps to go in Sonoma. Time for today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Mike, I just think this race is going to come down to pit strategy and a late caution. I look at Chase Elliott right now. He's in 8th place with 4-lap fresher tires. If the caution falls the right way for him, he's going to have the tires to go get his first road course win.
Jeff, Kurt Busch, he won here in 2011, but he has not been to victory lane since the Daytona 500 last year. I think we're about 50 laps away from him becoming the 3rd Stewart-Haas driver to win in 2018.
Larry, I just think Martin Truex's car, it has been so solid. Qualified outside pole. He's got the car to beat. Right strategy, 78 goes to victory lane.
Well, Darrell, I beg to differ. Clint Bowyer won here in 2012. He won when we were snow delayed in Martinsville. He won in the rain in Michigan. Today, the sun's shining, and it's going to sunshine on him in victory lane.
Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers this year have had the winning combination most places. That carries through to today. Harvick is going to leave a lot of other drivers whining in wine country. Would you like a little cheese with that wine?
Yes, I like the way you did that, Mike. Smooth.
Ryan Blaney had been puffing a good bit of smoke up the hill, and now, Jamie, at several places around the track.
Mike, we've been talking about the 12er Ryan Blaney running in the top 10. That smoke that you talk about, he said he thinks he has a power steering issue. It's definitely harder to drive right now. We asked his crew chief, Jeremy Bullins, what do you want me to do? He said, we've got to keep going. Stay out there and stay in it.
Well, you think of left and right, all the things you have to do on a lap here, how tough this track is physically, and then have a power steering issue.
Eric Jones at turn 11.
Mike, we run such quick steering boxes here, 8-to-1. Puts a lot of pressure on the system. And we've heard of a number of guys having power steering pump issues. So it looks like it might have bitten a 12 here in the race.
And if it happens to one of those drivers running the smaller steering wheel, as Matt showed us earlier, that is going to be a handful.
Find me a school bus.
Impressed with Eric Jones here. I feel like he has learned so much throughout this weekend and throughout this race to be in position. We saw him wheel hop under braking into turn 11 earlier. He's done a nice job recovering, making those smoother downshifts and braking, and now finds himself in 6th position.
So for more on this power steering issue, here's Larry Mack with our Ford Performance car.
Yeah, Mike, it's a little bit of a complicated area that there's no way you could actually do it and stay on the lead lap, because this is the power steering pump right there. And it has 2 lines that come off of it and go down to the steering box. Somewhere in there, you may have a line or a fitting that's leaking. You're just going to have to try to live with it unless it gets to smoking so bad NASCAR does not let you stay on the track.
Chase Elliott just passed Daniel Suarez. That battle had taken about 2 laps to unfold, but Elliott moves up to 7th.
And Mike, if it quit smoking, you say, oh, it quit smoking. Guess why? It's out
no
of
more fluid.
It's out of fluid.
Ty Dillon is off pace in the Geico Chevy. Now earlier Cole Witt got off track coming through the S's, but was able to make it back to the pit safely.
It sounds like it's stuck in gear possibly on Ty Dillon.
I think that's what I'm hearing.
Well, that might have happened trying to get out of turn 11, so if all he has is a lower gear, he's not going to go too far.
No, he's not.
There are plenty of places to pull off here because this track incorporates a drag strip and several other road racing configurations. So he'll be able to find a place if he can't get back to pit road.
Yeah, but ideally, as a driver, you want to get back to the garage.
Yeah.
You don't want to get up in turn 7. That's a long way down.
And it could be an easy fix. It's something they come on to pit road and they jack the car up, get underneath there, and sometimes they can just get a wrench or something to knock it loose and get it back going.
So he'll be a bit of a moving chicane trying to work his way back, but should not pose a problem. Chase Elliott looking at Eric Jones for 6th place. You know, since Jeff Gordon won 3 straight here, no driver has won consecutive races at Sonoma, which Kevin Harvick is trying to accomplish today.
You won 3 straight here?
I don't know how the heck I did that.
No, this is Gordonville right here. I looked at the record. Your name is number 1 all the way down.
All right, when we come back, we're going to pry the pit window open for the final time. Sonoma. Kevin Harvick leading Martin Truex by 1.6 seconds in the Toyota Savemart 350. Clint Boyer 4.8 back, and the Busch brothers 4th and 5th. Chase Elliott is now the fastest of the drivers that waited to make their pit stop at the end of stage 2. He's in 6th place. Jimmy Johnson in 9th place. Also has fresher tires than the cars that he is racing around.
Well, I won't call him a sleeper because he never does, but Boyer is in a pretty good spot right now, I think.
How about 5th place Kyle Busch? Regan?
Hey, it's been a relatively quiet day for Kyle Busch. We talked about him burning the tires off on the first run. He was frustrated with himself. He says, I feel like I always do that here. But ever since then, that race car has been pretty solid. He hasn't had much to say on the radio. Crew Chief Adam Stevens, all he told me earlier today was he wanted to keep his driver in position and that the yellow flag, if there is one at the end of this race, would be the thing that would help them possibly win it.
Well, in the last 7 races here, every driver in the top 5 has been to victory lane in those 7 races. Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards won the other 2. Here's Menard and Almirola racing for 14th, right behind Denny Hamlin.
Solid day by Menard and Almirola. Really, they both running pretty good, just right outside the top 10. But both drivers doing a pretty nice job.
Turn 7.
I think going back to what Regan Smith was talking about with Adam Stevens, I think a lot of these crew chiefs feel like there's going to be a late caution. We've not seen it happen here. It didn't happen last year. I'm not sure if it happened the year before, but that used to be a very common thing here. Maybe stage races changed that a little bit, but how do you play that strategy out, Larry?
All right, remember my game plan and my playbook at the top of the show, so follow along closely. Right here, we get about 40 to 42 to go. The window is open to pit for 4 tires and fill it with fuel, and you can make it to the end. That's also about where you would want to stop if you're going to break this down into 2 stops in the final stage. Now, if you're going to split the stage in half, you're going to go to about 30 to go. And just remember, last year, Rodney Childers, Kevin Harvick in that 4 that won the race, they made their final pit stop with 39 to go. So right now, we're about a lap or 2 from the window opening to be able to pit and make it to the end.
A winning strategy last year. We'll see how this plays out.
I think I'd want to push it a little deeper into that stage. I think I'd want to go down to about 25 laps, and then I'd have pretty good tires if I had to stay out with a caution flag.
Just think of the pounding that these cars take from changing all those gears, bouncing off of those curbs, all the downshifts, everything that you put the car through, heavy braking. To me, it really starts to take a toll once you start to get inside 25 to go, even though this is a fairly short race.
When this race is over, Now, they don't have special road course cars anymore, but a lot of teams will only use these cars once or twice a season. Are these cars used up at the end of a race like this?
Well, last year we showed it. There wasn't a fender left on any of these cars. So absolutely every piece on this race car is completely used up after this race. You won't see the car as is come back to another racetrack this year.
Well, we only run them twice a year, Mike, so they take it home, they disassemble it, rebuild it, get ready for Watkins Glen.
Kevin Harvick leading Martin Truex by 1.6. Clint Boyer 4 back. How about a quick word from Duracell?
This is the #1 trusted brand.
42 laps to go. Let's take a look at how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring today. Daniel Suarez, 8th place. Joey Logano, top 10. Denny Hamlin, after stopping at the end of the stage, trying to work his way back from 13th. Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace still on the lead lap, as is Ryan Newman, who made an extra pit stop not long ago. There's Suarez. He also ran in yesterday's race. He's in 8th place, just ahead of Jimmy Johnson. The Bernsey Award trophy riding on the pit box today. Chad Knaus taking good care of it for Jimmy Johnson, who, in the face of a season that has been far from stellar, still maintains a demeanor, a work ethic, and a smile reminiscent of our great friend and colleague Steve Burns, whom we lost several years ago to cancer.
I just love the humility of Jimmy Johnson. He's done everything in the world, but still he's a very humble guy.
And because of all he's accomplished, there's a lot of pressure on him. You know, all the eyes are on him. They expect a lot out of Jimmy Johnson, that 48 team, which makes it only that much tougher when you're not seeing this car perform the way we've typically seen it perform.
Do you know what I like? I haven't seen any panic in Jimmy or Chad can now see the one. They just keep working at it.
Brad Keselowski started top 10, but during this run he is back at 14th place after restarting 19th. How's Brad feeling about things?
Yeah, I just keep losing front end here, even when I take care of it. You got the breather room if you want to work on doing something different. 10-4. I don't have any ideas. They're driving in deeper and turning. That's where we get beat. When I try to drive in, it won't turn.
Car won't turn.
And I could see it, Mike. You could see it through turn 11. A lot of wheel, and you can see those wheels really turn.
All right, Ricky Stenhouse has made his pit stop. Here comes Paul Menard. Jamie in the pole sitter's pit.
Kyle Larson, what a disappointing day for him. Started on the pole and just fell back. Just not good on the long run, and they brought a little bit different setup here, thinking that they helped that problem that they seem to have every time they race at Sonoma. The 42 driver, Kyle Larson, saying his car not as bad this run, but he was mixed back in the pack. They wanted to bring it in, get some fresh tires on there, and an air pressure adjustment.
Larson was 18th. Menard was 17th when they came to the pit lane. Stenhouse already in and out.
And all these cars that are on pit road, they want a caution right now.
Yep.
Right now brings everybody else to pit road under caution, and they would get all the track position with fresh tires.
Trevor Bayne is also pitted. Ryan Newman pitted about 10 laps ago. So Kevin Harvick closing on that group, though they are still on the lead lap. Denny Hamlin to the pit lane.
Mike, you always have to remember, as a leader, don't race people that can't beat you. So don't let those guys lure you in to run a little harder or trying to put them a lap down. Let them go.
So Hamlin on the early stop strategy for stage 3. Matt?
Mike, when I spoke to Mike Wheeler right before the cars rolled off the grid, he told me that they would probably call an audible if they couldn't get the stage points. Looking at the bigger picture, they would roll it and go for the win. That's where they are at this juncture. Left side going up. Solid stop by Denny. Looking for his first win here at Sonoma, and he's away, Mike.
Well, a lot of trouble in that stop for the 11. Denny Hamlin, they looked like the hose on the gun got caught under the front splitter.
Harvick to 11, and Truex has closed right up on him.
Yeah, they stayed out. And Mike, that time, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the 4-car of Harvick is trying to save a little fuel to go a little further, but the 78 closed in a hurry on that lap.
Well, Kyle Busch is in, trying to win this. Regan.
Well, Kyle Busch had a little bit of left front damage to that race car that slowed the previous pit stop. They were able to get that fixed. This should be fine this time based on that. Right now his race car is just swinging in the rear, causing him to lose all the drive off of the corners. They're going to give him an adjustment for that.
You know, guys, if I'm Cole Perm with Truex or Michael Bugger-Ravitch with Boyer, I'm coming now. I want to beat that 4-car on the pit road. And now, of course, if the 4 comes, you've got to come. But I believe I would have come that lap right there.
A lot of different strategies. Jamie.
22 at Joey Logano. Today his main issue has just been wheel hop. He's gotten really frustrated a couple of times on the radio. You don't hear that a lot by Joey Logano. They made a wedge adjustment last time. It seemed to help him a little bit. A 4-tire stop here. Taking a while to get the right front off. Looks like it's hung up. Now they clear it. They got the tire on. They worked the left side. A long stop for the 22, Jeff.
I really think the 4's coming. Here he comes on the pit road. You saw how hard he was pushing in front of Martin Truex Jr., locking up tires, trying to get a gap between him and Martin Truex Jr. before he hits pit road.
Truex stayed out.
And
he didn't
so did
come with
Boyer.
the leader, and so did Boyer. So Harvick on pit road by himself at this point.
Guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Truex and Boyer, they're not going to go down the road of splitting this stage in half. I don't know why you wouldn't have come unless you're on a different strategy.
I think
so they're going to
go
have to go with about 30 to go. That's if they're going to go on that strategy.
Yeah, but I think he just got to go a little bit further in this stage myself.
Matt.
And Harvick was saying this run, the left rear of the car just a little bit more dead on corner exit. Looking at a possible air pressure change for this stop. One last stab at a lug and he's away.
Regan.
Mike, the past 2 laps, the 78 guys were up on the wall. They were ready to pit. Cole Pern kept saying pit next time, pit next time. Finally, he said stay out as the 4-car pitted. These guys are off the wall now. I believe they just baited the 4-car into pitting when they wanted the 4-car to pit.
Oh, that's pretty shrewd if they did.
Now, I've got to wonder, with my inquisitive mind, telling him to pit now,
may have been code.
Yes, to don't pit now.
That's right.
Oh, gosh.
That would confuse me.
Well, they tried to confuse everybody else with that, perhaps.
You know who it
may have been the plan all along.
It confused Kevin Harvick.
I don't know.
Marnie Visser kind of overseeing the whole operation here. Good call.
Look at that 00 that Truex is about to lap. That's Tommy Drisey, Trans Am racer. That car painted just like the Jim Hall Chaparral car from 1970, which Drisey also owns in Vintage Races. Matt.
And Clint Boyer said the car needs to roll a little bit better. They made an air pressure change the previous run. It seemed to help. Now, Mike Bugger-Ravitch told Boyer after the chassis adjustment you just saw completed, you are going to have to take care of these tires. You're going to have to run these a little longer than we did the previous run.
I just felt like, and you did too, and so we all did, that it would come down to strategy and who makes the right call when we pitted. I like where the 78 is right now.
Well, in my book, the bet is made for Cole Pern and Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 because they're giving up precious time, but their plan, as I think, is to split this stage in half. So what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to go to, you see, about 28 to 30 laps to go when that splits this final stage in half. That's taking advantage of fresh tires as much as possible.
So, Larry, was Cole kidding when he kept saying pit now? What do you think?
I think I'm on your side there. I think it was code. I think it was a plan. If you do the same thing that Harvick does, you know what you're going to do? You're going to run second to Harvick.
Now, did he look like a guy that would maybe do a little trickery? Cole Pern, give me a break. He wouldn't do that.
Jimmy Johnson coming to pit road as Martin Truex now leads Kurt Busch by 14 seconds. You won't miss a thing as we go Fox double box break. .33 laps to go in Sonoma. You're watching the leader from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Martin Truex, 15 seconds ahead of Kurt Busch. They're all on the same strategy. At least the top 9 cars are.
But as I watch this 78 car go around the racetrack, Mike, his lap times are really good, 19.7s and 6s. The next closest guy, a minute 20.69 on Kurt Busch. He's a second better than the other guys.
He's also 15 seconds ahead of that 41 of Kurt Busch.
It's just, Mike, that when you have the fastest car, and he has had most of the day and all through the weekend, you can just use a different strategy and go in a different direction.
And then you see a little bit fresher tires, pitted later on that last sequence. The 9 car, he's not pitted yet on this sequence, but the one before that, he's closing in on the 41 of Kurt Busch, and that's Chase Elliott.
Let's mention a few fellas that are having a great day. Alex Bowman in 6th, Chris Buescher in 7th. Matt DiBenedetto 14th, Parker Kligerman 16th, David Reagan 17th. There's Alex Bowman. You see him on the map. So back in 9th place, let's add Kevin Harvick to our mix here. He is the first of the drivers that stopped when the pit window opened back at lap 73, Matt.
Mike, gamesmanship on pit road is always impressive when it comes to pit strategy. It's a lot like playing poker and knowing when to bluff. Here's Rodney Childers.
Need to run it easier than that, you think, or what do you think? If we need to run easier, let me know. Basically, 78 faked us out. They decided to run 7 or 8 more laps, so I don't know. Kind of screwed us here a little bit, but we'll make the best out of it.
Well, Kevin Harvick's got some decisions to make. How hard do you run? Even though you came in, you got suckered in to come a little earlier, but he's also got his teammate Clint Boyer putting a lot of pressure on him.
I just think it's important. He was the leader. Harvick's the leader. And I just think it's important to be able to stay out there and as long as the other guys do. I'd make them pit first. It'd been me.
Boyer was way up on the curb at 7, trying to get past his teammate. Last race, Kevin Harvick gave Clint Boyer a whole lot of room. Boyer picking up his 2nd win of the season as they battled off the final restart. One of the most dramatic restarts of the year. I'm not sure Harvick's going to be quite so generous today.
But they ran it. That's how they finished here last year, Mike. Remember, 1st and 2nd. I've been watching that 14 car all day long. He's been taking it pretty darn easy. Hadn't abused his car whatsoever.
Easy is over.
Oh, I agree. 30 laps to go here. You got to get after it. But he's been taking good care of that race car and the tires.
But when I think of getting after it, I think of Martin Truex Jr. When he comes to pit road, gets tires, he doesn't have to conserve or save anything. He's going to go all out to the end.
I'd like the strategy. I think the 78 nailed it. He play out wrong, but that's what I see right now.
The only thing that ruins it is that caution coming out right now.
Well, honestly, though, Jeff, think about this. We're going so deep since those guys made a green flag pit stop. They're accumulating laps on their tires. So even if the caution came, they may be forced to pit too because they're going to have 10+ laps on their tires.
That's right, Larry.
That's a good point.
4 of the first 5 pitted before the end of stage 2. Lap 47 and 48. They've got a lot of laps on those tires. There it is.
Now we know all those guys are coming to pit road. The question is whether Harvick and Boyer and those guys would be coming to pit road. But you're right, Larry. Every lap that they run here, if that caution were to come out, they would be forced to also have to come.
Right now, Kevin Harvick is running laps 1.3 seconds faster than the leader and 2 seconds faster than positions 2 through 5.
Boy, you hear he's out of tires.
That's how much the grip has been lost in those tires.
Nothing.
But all they have to do, if this thing stays green, is just duplicate the run he just had. It's the same number of laps.
Through turn 10, will he or won't he?
Betcha.
Here he comes.
Regan.
Well, this entire 78 team with a performance that was worthy of an Academy Award. They were up on the wall and ready for the psych out. They do it for real this time. His race car has good turn. He lacked some drive off of the corners early on in the race. They adjusted for that. He's been all quiet on the radio so far. 4 tires.
Chase Elliott in as well. Kurt Busch assumes the lead. Matt?
And Chase Elliott's been a work in progress. Very solid effort for the driver of the 9. He felt like he could have had more cut left and right, but better all overall from the start of the run until they hit pit lane. Air pressure change, and he's away.
So that leaves Kurt Busch and Eric Jones out front, having not yet made a pit stop in stage 3. Harvick and Boyer move up to 3rd and 4th. Suarez 5th has not stopped. Neither have Keselowski nor Kane in 8th and 9th.
I always like to use the start-finish line as a judge where someone is. We'll see where the 4 is when the 78 comes. When the 4 goes by, see how far the 78 is behind.
William Byron had an uncontrolled tire on his pit stop. Eric Jones now 2nd. And here comes Harv.
Now every car that Harvick comes to right now is critical to make sure that he gets by them as fast and as clean as possible. He wants to keep as much of a gap between he and Truex on those fresher tires as possible.
Kurt Busch gives up the lead to make his pit stop in front of Regan.
Well, Kurt Busch, who hydrated extra today, it's very hot out here. These guys are working hard in the cars. He cramped in this race in 2008. He didn't want to have that happen. Right now, his race car is too loose through the right-handers. He needs more grip on the left side tires.
Brad Keselowski, Casey Kane come to pit road. You're watching leader Eric Jones on the right, his teammate Daniel Suarez in the pits on the left. Jones will be the only driver who has not made a pit stop in stage 3.
Have to give him a lot of credit. I mean, that car was in big trouble. Sides all banged in and spun out on a wheel hop, and here he is leading the race.
All right, Chris Gale knows he does not have a car heads up that can come close to winning this race. I think what he's doing with Eric Jones in the 20 is exactly what Paul Wolfe and Brad Keselowski did a year ago. They're going to run this thing as far as they can, probably up to about lap 90 or 20 to go, because to my point earlier, and thrown out at the window, he just hit pit road.
Well timed, Larry. Well timed. Uncontrolled tire for Casey Kane, and he had been in the top dozen most of the day.
I've been doing a nice job. Kane was. I think he was running well, and now that's going to hurt him.
New crew chief there, John Leonard, Travis Mack released after last race. And here's Jones making his hopefully final stop. On the right of your screen, Harvick, Boyer, Truex.
If you ask me, Truex and Cole Pearn have called this race perfectly,
right.
and I'll tell you why. He's got, what, 7, 8 laps fresher tires than Kevin Harvick. He's only about 6.5 seconds back. Watch how fast he's going to be able to catch these guys and pass these guys with with older tires.
Yeah, Truex is 6/10 quicker right now than Harvick is, so he'll catch him in a hurry.
And if the caution comes out right now, he's even in better shape.
Exactly.
Look at him all but carrying that left front wheel through turn 9. Here he is in 10.
He was almost a half a second faster that last lap, Truex was, than Kevin Harvick. Now he's going to have to get through some of those cars. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult.
And one of those cars is second place Clint Boyer.
Tell you, Boyer, does he not do an amazing job on these road courses? Here he is running second. I mean, who knows? He might have the winning car at this point.
9/10 Truex gained on our leader, Kevin Harvick, that lap.
You can see it visibly on our map at the bottom.
He's pushing. I can tell you that. He's pushing really hard. That's only a couple tenths slower than his fastest lap of the race.
And that 14 is actually hitting that 4 in the rear end. He's trying to go. We got to go, baby.
The rookies battling it out here in Sonoma. I'm impressed. They've kept it on the track. This is a tough track just to finish, let alone put together a pretty nice, solid finish.
Well, I know Bubba Wallace is way back, but he's really improved a lot in the race today.
We'll step away for another Fox double box so you can continue to watch the action with 26 to go. Welcome back to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from Sonoma. 24 laps to go. We're in the final stage where Martin Truex and Cole Pearn, by waiting to pit until lap 81, they have 8 laps fresher tires than Kevin Harvick, 7 laps fresher tires than Clint Bowyer, and Truex continues to close. He's now within 4 seconds.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's best friend right now is his teammate Clint Bowyer, hoping that he can hold back Martin Truex Jr. from this charge that he has coming forward.
Mike, last time by Truex, 1:17. Harvick, 1:18.
Truex closing at half a second a lap or better. Plenty of time, 23 laps to go.
Yeah, 23 laps to go with much better tires and a fast car. He's going to get there, and he should be able to get the lead. Truex we're talking about.
Inside of William Byron, the rookie who has gone 1 lap down.
Nice job by Byron. You saw how he moved up out of the way and gave Truex the line, let him go. It's a heads-up kid right there. I love the way he races. This kid's going to be tough the second half of the year, I guarantee you.
So now the battle is for second. Bowyer, our most recent winner, and Martin Truex, our defending champion, 14 and 78.
Saw the 12 of Blaney moving up out of the way. I guess that power steering is just about giving out on him.
Talk about hydration after this race is over. That boy is going to be worn out. To just even ride around here with no power steering's got to be tough on him.
You know, Truex has fresher tires, but it looks like Bowyer's got good drive up off the corner.
Oh, his car is great, but you cannot match the grip of those tires.
Hello. Goodbye. That's just Bowyer being smart, Mike. He knows that the 78's faster. No need in taking a chance on him getting into me and knock me off in the dirt.
Now, we saw the snow job that the 78 team put on Rodney Childers and Kevin Harvick as far as when they would pit. How did Clint Bowyer's team assess all that, Matt?
Well, Mike, they also just rolled the dice, and the one thing that his spotter, Brett Griffin, keeps reminding him, you got great forward bite, which is what you guys documented. He says, but you need to not burn the tires as much. Make those last a little bit longer.
Okay, 10-4. I'll get on that for you. I want you to be up there and catch the leader, but take it easy.
I can almost hear the words right now coming out of Clint Bowyer's mouth as he looked up in his mirror and saw Martin Truex Jr. coming on those fresher tires.
Goodness.
Kyle Busch in 4th, Chase Elliott with a nice drive in 5th. Jimmy Johnson at 6th. Kurt Busch, Hamlin, Almirola, pole sitter Larson the top 10. And of that whole group, Elliott and Kurt Busch were on the late stop strategy and have the freshest tires. Kyle Larson in the pits.
Boy, that 78, he is just, I mean, he is so much quicker than the 4-car of Harvick. And here he comes.
So we're told that Clint Bowyer and team had planned their pit stop to stop at the same time as their teammate Harvick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they told Clint Bowyer on the radio, just do what the 4 does, watch the 4. Well, then the 4 comes in a little bit earlier than they anticipated. And what does that do? Brings Clint Bowyer right along with them.
You know what they told the 78? Whatever the 4 does, do just the opposite.
Here's what the leaders are going to have to contend with shortly.
And I think that's Kevin Harvick's best friend. If he can get to that traffic and get those cars in between he and Truex, the longer he can stretch this out, maybe those newer, fresher tires on the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. might start to lose some of their advantage.
78 will be by him before he gets to him. He's just so much quicker. Look how he closes. I mean, it's just so much quicker.
See, Kevin Harvick accelerates pretty nice. Most of that grip gain is, well, you see a little bit even here through some of these higher speed lefts and rights, but you really see it in the braking zones. So right here, if Truex can get through this right-hander turn 10 nice, which it looks like he's going to do, he'll make this pass right away.
Half here with the run. Half. Looking, he's there. By himself.
Smart move on Truex's part to get that done before they got to the traffic.
Yeah, I think so too, Mike. I didn't think that the lap traffic is going to be that big a factor because the 78 is going to get by. He's quick.
Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch making unexpected pit stops. Regan.
Well, Kyle Busch hits pit road. This track, admittedly, by Adam Stevens, has not been one of their best, even though they have a win here. He planned on doing something to get off strategy, hoping for that late race caution. If that caution comes out now, he'll be in a good spot with the tires they've got.
Hey, guys, this is a scheduled stop. Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., as well as Kyle Larson, what their race team elected to do, remember one of my 4th pieces of the game plan. They are splitting it into thirds. This is exactly what Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens did a year ago.
That's my problem, Larry. I turn the TV set off if Alabama has too big a lead in the 4th quarter.
This thing is never over. I mean, tires mean so much. Strategy plays such an important role that anything at this point can change everything that you see on screen.
Yeah, now we're far enough into a run, Mike, that if there was a caution, everybody would probably have to pit. It'd be a gamble to stay out. Some people back in the field might be able to stay out and take a chance.
There's Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer playing that same strategy.
All this is you're saying there's going to be a caution.
That's right.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't see, if there's no caution, I don't see how this helps you beat Martin Truex.
You're not going to beat Truex. The only way you're going to beat him is if there is a caution.
Matt.
And you saw Boyer hit his pit box. Harvick making his way to his stall, slides to a stop. This car has just been phenomenal all day. They made a small adjustment on the previous stop, but other than that, a little bit of trouble on the right front for Eric Maycroft. Comes around, tries to pick up the timing. You can see Stan Doolittle, the big jackman, help index that left rear, and Harvick is away, cost him a couple seconds.
Yeah, that wasn't a stellar stop by any means.
Martin Truex now having to deal with race traffic. Just put another lap on Tommy Dreese.
So now what he can do is Truex doesn't have to push it hard.
All right, guys, let's just think about Martin Truex Jr. right now. I mean, he's going to have well over a half a track lead, but you guys nailed it. What Truex and Cole Pearn are banking on is exactly what we had a year ago. We're going to go the rest of this race caution-free. Those drivers that pitted, what they're banking on and hoping for is we get a caution, because if you're one of these drivers that just hit pit road, you're done coming to pit road for the rest of this race.
Chase Elliott, with those pit stops, moves up to 2nd place. Kurt Busch to 3rd. Eric Almirola to 4th, with Harvick re-entering the race in 5th. Now, of them, Almirola stopped at lap 73, about 9 laps before the rest of the top 4.
Nice job, Almirola. They're sitting there in 4th place. Pretty nice run for that team today.
Yeah, and you got to believe a lot of pressure on Eric Almirola to come in here. He knows he has 3 teammates that are great road racers, all 4 of those cars have been fast this weekend, and that just puts more pressure on you as a driver to make sure you step up and do your part of the job.
Matt?
Mike, when you look at all the stats when it concerns road course racing, the guy right behind Jeff Gordon has most wins on the road courses is Tony Stewart. And what better to have a driver coach than Stewart? He's worked a lot with Almirola, looking at this place, the corners that have been trouble for Almirola in the past. In fact, at one point during the race, he commented and approved that just his improvement in the certain areas that they were hoping to see, and they definitely have, and the results are showing that he's currently P4.
Let's step back to 8th place, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher. They both stopped around lap 80, as did the 3 leaders.
Just another incredible job by Chris Buescher. I mean, that's A.J. Allmendinger's teammate, so you got to feel that some of that information obviously flows both ways. But what an incredible job by this young man to be sitting there in 9th place right now.
Behind them, Logano and Kyle Busch, 10th and 11th. Having a pretty good battle. Kyle takes the spot going through turn 1. Then Suarez and McDowell.
Buescher's buddy Scrappy will be happy that he's having a great run like he's having today. That's a good deal.
Okay. Martin Truex Audio. Truth or dare? What do we got
I don't
here?
know if I believe him anymore.
Yeah, there's just no way they could beat us from there, so they opted for the 2, and then, like you said, if they get a caution or whatever, so close for right out.
Those are pretty good words to hear if you're a driver. There's just no way they can beat us.
Well, I'm going to beg to
caution.
differ. There you go. Because he's got 14 laps on his tires right now. If a caution comes out, I think it's going to be tough for him to win this race.
Yeah, 15 laps to go. There's a lot of opportunities for that to happen.
Well, you got 11 turns here, so there's 11 chances something could happen. But you can't race a race banking on a caution coming out. I don't like to race that way.
Now, talk about a tough day. Ryan Blaney, they keep bringing Blaney into the pits because his arms are cramping up from fighting no power steering. Then they send him back out for a run. Then he all tightens up, has to stop for a bit, shake it all up, goes back out again.
You can see, I mean, his arms are like jello. He could barely even go over that curb and try to correct as the car got loose.
I don't know. Kevin Harvick just ran his fastest lap of the race, and so did Clint Boyer. What does that do for your trends, Larry?
Well, this will be the last time in 2018 you'll hear my trends of the race. I know we went caution-free in the final stage a year ago, but in the last 10 Sonoma races, the last caution, average lap 100 with 10 to go. 5 times in those 10 races, it happened in the final 10 laps, and we have had 2 overtimes here in 2008, 2009. Cole Pern, Martin Truex Jr., they hope these trends do not come to fruition and we're more like we were a year ago.
They're going to be holding their breath for the next few laps here as Toyota aims for its 2nd big win in 2 weeks. They took 1st overall in the 24 hours of Le Mans last week in France. And Martin Truex trying to win his manufacturer's title race. Thinking of big events around the world. Tomorrow, the FIFA World Cup continues on Fox and FS1 with a full slate of matches. 9 Eastern, Uruguay takes on Russia, and later Ronaldo and Portugal face Iran. The World Cup on Fox and FS1, or stream it all live on the Fox Sports app.
It's just an amazing the amount of people that have been watching the World Cup and how excited people are all over the world. It's been a great event.
You're a big Morocco fan, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
World's biggest sporting event.
I'm a Brazilian fan.
And it's on Fox. That's right. Your son-in-law is Brazilian.
He's from Brazil, yeah.
Okay.
Watches Fausto intently.
My wife's from Belgium. I hope Belgium doesn't play Brazil because it's going to get ugly between me and you, DW.
I hope you two aren't in the same room if they do. So Kevin Harvick at lap 94, 3 laps ago, ran his fastest lap of the race. He is 31 seconds behind Martin Truex. That number's climbing, coming down, but the number that's not maybe big enough is the 13 on the scoreboard. That's how many laps to go.
Yeah, and you just got to remember, if the longer we go into, if there's a caution at the very end, everybody's got laps on their tires. I know Truex would have the most, but the other guys got laps on their tires too by then. I think it's pretty cool, though. Look what those Stewart-Haas cars are running, Mike. 1, 2, 3, 4, or in order there. 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Let's take a look back and find Kevin Harvick in 3rd place behind Martin Truex and Chase Elliott. Using that extra bonus pavement outside turn 4.
And when you're behind, when you're trying to catch somebody, you're going to push the car harder maybe than you would really like to, and you're going to abuse and use up those tires a little quicker.
And here's a battle for 4th position. Bowyer goes by his teammate Kurt Busch.
Well, he has 10 lap fresher tires than Kurt, so that's not surprising.
And of course, Harvick is chasing 2nd place Chase Elliott. They've elected to go with that same strategy to stay out here towards the end, like Truex. Now, Harvick's probably going to catch the 9 of Chase Elliott. I don't see any way he's going to catch Truex.
Harvick's last lap was 4/10 faster than the leaders.
And Mike, you see how that keeps getting closer and closer to the same times. As tires wear, the times become very close to each other.
We talked to Trevor Bayne early in the weekend. He's back with Roush Fenway Racing here at Sonoma and for selected races throughout the year. He and Ricky Stenhouse running just 1 position apart. And Trevor said earlier in the weekend, he said, I learned a lot while I was away, observed a lot, learned a lot, and was gratified to hear that what I've been telling them about these cars and where we need to improve pretty much mirrors what Matt Kenseth's been telling them in the time that he's been in the car.
It's got to be a big confidence booster to Trevor Bayne, Mike, to have a veteran like Matt Kenseth get in that car and mirror what you said. That's big confidence for him.
Kyle Larson 17th ahead of Austin Dillon by a car length. His worst fears confirmed. Fast for a couple of laps in qualifying, on the pole for the 2nd straight year, but to put a whole race together here at Sonoma is hard.
It is hard, Mike, and but I think this is even more disappointing than what they thought going in. I think they thought, yeah, we're not going to be maybe a winning race car, but maybe 5th, maybe 8th. I don't think they ever thought they'd be as bad as what they are right now in 17th.
Yeah, I like when Chad Johnson, when Kyle Larson called in and told me that he doesn't understand what's going on, Chad Johnson, I don't either.
7th place, Joe Gibbs Toyota teammates. And Kyle Busch taking that spot with 8-lap fresher tires and gives a wave to Bubba Wallace for setting aside there as those 2 lead lap cars went by.
You know, Mike, with no caution, we talk about hydration and how physical demanding this racetrack is. These guys will be worn out when this race is over with because they have put in a hard day's work here on this road course.
Kyle Larson just passed Michael McDowell at the entrance to turn 11, and that will move Larson up to 16th.
Yeah, he'll make up a few more positions possibly before this race is over because he does have fresher tires than some of those around him.
Harvick's last lap 2.4 seconds quicker than Truex.
Yeah, both he and Harvick, Harvick and Bowyer, their fastest laps of the race were lap 94, 95. That's just 5 laps ago.
Yeah, and remember, Truex doesn't have to push it. He just got to ride around here, and Harvick won't catch him.
Well, the Penske cars started together. 2 of them are going to finish together here. But 13th and 14th was not what Team Penske hoped for today. Ryan Blaney's had power steering issues and well off the lead lap.
Mike, that has to be rather confusing and a little bit disgusting. When you have the Stewart-Haas Fords running as good as they are, you got similar cars, similar equipment, and you're that far behind.
Hey guys, looking at Chase Elliott in this 9 car, I want to give a call to Alan Gustafson and the call he made. Yeah, it probably was not going to be a race-winning call, but I think when I look at who he's racing, should we go caution-free, they have bought a top 5 finish with his strategy.
And Larry, I'm going to add on top of that and go to 2019. This is the 3rd year Chase Elliott's been here on a road course at Sonoma. This is a tough track to learn, and he keeps getting better and better. Last year he was 8th. He's running 2nd right now, going to get very possibly a top 5. Next year, look for him to possibly be a contender to win here on a road course.
Mike, I'm going to make a bold prediction here. One day that boy's going to win a race.
Well, he's got 8 second-place finishes. I don't think he'll get 9 today as Kevin Harvick closes in. And here's second stage winner Denny Hamlin battling Joey Logano for 14th at turn 7. Harvick's last lap was 1.2 faster than Martin Truex. However, there's only 9 laps to go.
The old sand in the hourglass is running out.
Second place at stake here.
Oh.
3 wide.
Split.
Oh, Justin Marks in the 15.
See, he did exactly what Justin Marks did exactly what he's supposed to. Hold your line.
Yep.
Stay where you are. We'll get around you.
Good road racer. All right, second and third there. So now Harvick is 24 seconds back with 8.5 laps to play. Here's what that looks like in distance. It looks like from here to Napa.
It's a long way, baby.
There's Martin out of turn 11. Going to take 8 laps to go at the stripe.
You know, we had talked earlier when Kevin Harvick was in the lead, was in second behind Martin Truex Jr. What position do you want to be in? I wanted to be in second place watching what the 78 car was doing, see what I can do to make my car better. We saw that flip-flop. Harvick got the lead. 78 was riding behind them. Not only do I think he improved his car and some of the things he was doing as a driver, Martin Truex Jr., but I think that's also what got them into position to fake those guys on the 4-car, Rodney Childers, to come to pit road.
7th place. Jones and Almirola.
Eric Jones has just been really, the second half of this race, been impressive. Really impressive.
Well, we got a little contrary here for our 5-hour energy big move of the race. It was a move on the radio.
All right, come on, pit this time, Mark. Pit this time. All right, next time by. Next time by. All right, stay out, Mark. Stay out, stay out. Gotta go about 9 more, Mark.
Pit now. No, 9 more. They faked everybody out. And running a textbook race is Martin Truex Jr., who began his racing career as a young boy racing go-karts on road courses. Graduated to Busch North, where they raced at Lime Rock and Watkins Glen. Then to the Busch Series, got to run some more road courses. He came to Cup ready to play.
Remember, we saw him win over in Mexico in the Xfinity Series at the time.
I just want to know what the actual word is to pit.
It's not pit.
It's not pit this time. We know that.
Here comes Boyer after Chase Elliott. They're 25 seconds back of the lead with 7 to go. Racing for third. So for Chase Elliott right now, he's got to be aggressive, but he's got to be careful. How do you do both?
Well, I think he knows these guys have fresher tires. I think a third place finish today, as we see Clint Boyer go to the inside turn 7, make that pass for third position. I think this is like a win for Chase Elliott. I think this is a huge moment for him in his career. Shows what kind of race car driver he is, to be able to manage this tough road course, short track, super speedways. I mean, I just think he's maturing into a really top driver in this series.
And Mike, he doesn't try to get any more out of the car than what the car has in it. And he drives like his dad did. His dad, Bill Elliott, was the same way.
All right, guys, I know that Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer, that's sitting right now, they have roughly about 12 laps on their tires. But if we get a caution, there's no question they will stay out. The 78's a sitting duck. If he stays out, they're going to drive around him. If he pits, there's no way he can get back there. So right now, Cole Pern, Martin Truex Jr. in that 78, if they've ever been in a race they did not want to see a caution, you're looking at it right now.
Larry, and I think I agree with you, Larry, except for one thing. I look at the times. And Truex's times and Harvick and Boyer's times are very, very similar as far as they go around this racetrack.
It just makes me kind of chuckle and go back to when I was driving here, and I would maybe know what the pit strategy was. and I would be saying to myself, no caution, no caution, no caution. And then I'd pit and I'd say, caution, caution, caution. You just flip every lap that you make out here.
Yeah, Daryl, and I see what you're seeing as far as the stopwatch, as far as the times, but just think about them being bunched back up.
Oh, yeah.
And having that many more laps on your tires that Martin Truex Jr. would have.
Oh, I agree 100%, Larry. The only thing I think Truex had got in his favor, he has a comfortable lead, and he hadn't had to abuse his car or his tires at all.
Harvick into turn 11, getting to the inside of Ryan Newman, who moves aside for the second place car. Still 21 seconds back. He's been eating into Truex's lead, which is twice the largest margin of victory ever at Sonoma. 1994, Ernie Irvan over Jeff Bodine. Bodine's here this weekend looking on.
Mike, I just think it's a compliment to these cars and these drivers and these teams to put a car together to run 110 laps around this joint, all those shifts, all those turns. We've had very few mechanical failures. I just think it's a real tribute to the teams and everybody that builds these cars and gets them ready to race out here.
Yeah, hey, Mike, you know the real flag the 78 wants to see is that white flag. He knows if he sees that white, we got a race.
Absolutely.
And I go back to what you say, Daryl. When I first started coming out here, I mean, half the field would run off the racetrack, and I was one of them. I mean, this place, it's amazing how much better the drivers are today at road racing. Of course, the cars are a lot better also, and especially these young guys. I mean, great job to them of managing how challenging this track is.
Eric Jones 7th. Alex Bowman currently in 9th. His teammate Daniel Suarez in 10th.
Chase Elliott up there in 4th. It's a really good, but all the young boys did a nice job today. Buscher's had a nice run. He's 12th right now, but he's been right there in the top 10, 15 all day long. Nice run.
20 cars on the lead lap here with 4 to go. There's Chris Buescher. Matt DiBenedetto in 18th.
Like just another day by DiBenedetto. I think he gets so much out of so little. I think he's just a really, really good driver.
There's Casey Kane just ahead. Michael McDowell is in 19th, DiBenedetto 18th. And there's Matt. He was walking around behind the grandstand earlier today with a microphone and a camera. I asked him, should I be worried? He goes, no, not yet.
He should have his own TV show.
Yeah, he should have his own show.
One-man TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's a fun guy. I like him a lot.
California driver also. Now, we were just on board with Martin Truex Jr. as he went into turn 11. I bet he lifted 6-7 car lengths earlier than he has all day long. He is driving, you know, as smooth and as easy as he can right now.
He's coasting. That thing that you see flopping around there, that's right there on the little bit to the right of your screen, that's a windshield wiper. But listen, he backs off the throttle and lets the car coast into the corner. He's not pushing that car hard at all.
Stenhouse on fresher tires, moving past Casey Kane, and Truex coming up to try and lap them both.
Two more.
Kyle Larson started this race on pole. He's currently running in 15th. A.J. Allmendinger won stage 1. He's in the garage after losing the engine when he missed a shift. Denny Hamlin was our stage 2 winner. Hamlin currently is 12th, 52 seconds back of the lead.
Yeah, just never really recovered from that pit strategy to stay out and win stage 2. Denny, you talked on the radio about having a top 5 car, and I think he may have a top 5 car, but just could never get that track position back.
Kevin Harvick 15 seconds back of Martin Truex Jr.
Right now, your heart's pounding. If you're Martin Truex, your heart's pounding out of your chest, and just let me get back to the start-finish line. Let me see that white flag.
And he doesn't want to see any dust flying from any other cars out there possibly going off course.
I want you guys to use all the skills, all the road racing skills you've got. Stay on the track and don't blow anything up, and let me see the white flag.
Well, the big four are currently in the top 5. Truex, Harvick, Boyer, Kyle Busch.
Boy, gets those tires, doesn't he?
Along with Chase Elliott.
Slow 12 up there. White flag this time. White flag. Just bring it back.
And the white flag waves. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Let's enjoy the ride.
Back off, bud. Back off, man.
That's just great advice. I mean, these 2 guys are racing for position.
And he has a 13-second lead.
He just needs to let them go. Good call there, Clayton Hughes.
When he last won at Sonoma in June of 2013, it was only his 2nd career win. Rounding turn 11 and headed for home for Barney Visser and Furniture Row Racing. Martin Truex scores his 18th career NASCAR Cup victory.
That's awesome. Congratulations, brother. Hell of a job. Thanks, Clay. Awesome job all day, man. Way to be. Oh, yeah, buddy. You too. Nice call.
Kevin Harvick finishes 11 seconds back. Clint Boyer, 20 seconds. Chase Elliott gets a top 5. He's the first Chevrolet across the line. And Kyle Busch is 5th. Kurt Busch 6th. Nice run for Eric Jones in 7th. Almirola, Bowman, and Hamlin, the top 10. Martin Truex taking home the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory. Third win of the season. Puts him right up there with Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch as the top of the Cup Series, and this ends the streak of 9 different winners at Sonoma.
Yeah, he won here in 13, I think it was.
I heard Martin Truex Jr. say, if we can just get some luck on our side and get some things to go our way, we can battle with the 18 of Kyle Busch and the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Today, they didn't need luck. They won that by making a great call and driving a great race.
Kevin Harvick 11 seconds back, finishing 2nd. Sherry Pollux,
yeah.
Martin's girlfriend, going out to celebrate with Cole Pern. This is Martin's 3rd win on a road course, and that is 2nd among active drivers. Kyle Busch has 4.
Yeah, and this is back-to-back for him. He won at Watkins Glen last year.
He's having a ball right now. It's such a great feeling.
And for the 3rd straight road course race in NASCAR, he's led the most laps. th career win for Barney Visser's Furniture Row Racing. 3rd win of the year and 1st year at Sonoma.
Turning that thing into a drifter.
So Toyota wins Le Mans and comes to one of America's most famous road courses 1 week later and wins again with Martin Truex.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. And Victory Lane, the scene is Martin Truex Jr., the defending champ, resurfaces at his Toyota for his 3rd win of the year. He's ahead of where he was last year at this point when he went on to win the Monster Energy Cup Championship. And our Jamie Little is there for the celebration.
It is quite the party in Victory Lane. It was a smoke show when he drove in here. Martin Truex Jr., you and the 78 team outsmart the competition. So you hear on the radio, pit, pit, don't pit. Did you know all along you guys were going to snooker the competition at that point?
No, it's all Cole. That's all him. That was amazing. I'm cool with whatever he wants to do. I tell him all the time, I'm like, win, lose, or draw, we do it together. And I just got a lot of trust in him. I don't even say anything when he says pit or don't pit. I do what he does, what he wants to do. So awesome job by him today.
With 15 to go, he comes on the radio and said, they can't beat us from here. What is going through your mind as a driver when you hear that comfort, that calm, cool, collected voice on the radio?
Honestly, all you're doing is begging, hoping that the caution doesn't come out. Because then you're going to have to pit, and you never know what can happen. It mixes the field up and stuff. So just hoping for no cautions and don't make any mistakes. Hope the engine stays together thanks to TRD. It did this year. We had some trouble with that last year and kind of let one slip away here. But got a lot of people to thank. Obviously, 5 Hour for coming on board this year with us. And really, we wouldn't be able to do this program without them. Obviously, Johnny and Bass Pro and all they do. Everybody at Toyota and TRD and auto owners for coming back. I mean, we have so many partners that honestly we would not be able to do this. So Furniture Row Denver Mattress, all the guys at Denver. Just thanks to everyone, everybody that works for me at MTJ and Beechcraft, Hawker, and Cessna, and I can't even remember them all. True Timber came on board this year. A lot of people that make this possible, and we get to live out our dreams because of them. So thank you all, everybody at Toyota, and this is an awesome day. Pretty cool to win here again.
Martin, after this, everybody's going to talk about the call, though, and you said, I do whatever he tells me. Was that code, was come in and pit code for really don't pit?
No.
It worked. Congratulations. Martin Truex Jr. wins at Sonoma. Matt?
And after they bluffed, the cards were all laid out on the table, and at that point, all Kevin Harvick could do was hope for a caution. But what impressed me the most on the cool-down lap, Rodney Childers took the blame for the call, and showing a lot of leadership. What did you say?
Oh, man, we all make mistakes, and we all do things split second that might be right after it all happens. But these guys do a great job. Everyone on our Mobil 1 Ford has done a great job for the last 5 years now, and we had a shot today, and really the call was one thing, but I think I was too hard on the car in the first couple stages. I got the brake pedal it was long after qualifying, and never really came around there at the end of the race. It just progressively kept getting worse, and I kept losing drive about lap 20 off of 3 and getting tied into 4. So I had a lot of problems that we needed to work on, and but all of our guys do a great job. Got to thank Jimmy Johns and Busch, Ford, Outback, Hunt Brothers, Morton Buildings, Textron Off-Road, and everybody at Liftmaster for everything that they do. Everybody at Stewart Haas Racing has done a great job.
I know it's apples to oranges. The next road course race is Watkins Glen. The guy who won today won there last August. Looking at your road course program, what do you guys need to do to maybe take it up one more notch?
They're so different. For me, I like this particular track a lot better. It seems like we always run a lot better here than what we do there, and not that we've run bad there, but this is definitely a place where I feel like we can win, and for me, coming here is like coming home. I've raced here since 1995, and it's a track that hasn't changed a lot. The curbs are all still the same, and you get to race in your home state. So you always want to win here, but you're not going to win them all. That's for sure.
All right, thanks, Regan.
Well, Clint Boyer comes home in 3rd place today. You got out of that race car and you said, dang, I wanted to win here again. What was it going to take to get you up there at the end of the day?
Well, I mean, there's 3 cars that were the class of field all day long. Somehow you got to get in front of them, and strategy ended up winning the race. I mean, the 78, their calculator worked pretty good today, but they had good fortune. You always have to have that on these road courses. He was fast. He was one of the 3
were capable of winning, heads up, and took a different strategy than us in the 4 and 1. But all in all, good weekend for our one Cure Ford and just everybody involved. I mean, Rush Trucks and Rusty showed up, and Tony's here. It's just a fun weekend for everybody. You hate that it ends. You're kind of bummed out because, anytime you get that close and sniff it a little bit, you feel like you got a chance, and we did. It's all you can ask for out of the guys. You hate to give up them stage points, but that's what you got to do. And I don't know, it's fun out there. No matter how you finish, it's always fun coming out here. But come up a little short.
Just a little short today. He's tasted the wine here before, but not today, Jamie.
Well, somebody drinking the beer right now, Cole Pern, the man who made that call to win this race for Martin Truex Jr. And somebody at Toyota just told me, you are an evil genius. At what point did you decide we're staying out here?
We knew we were going to do one stop. That was kind of our plan. We just, we really needed them to pit earlier for it to work out. So it was a bit of a gamble, obviously, but obviously it paid off and worked out great. So, it's tough. Everybody's so good in this. It sometimes takes something different to mix it up to pull one out.
So do you think your driver really thought he was going to pit until you said no?
Yeah, we're not that smart. He probably screwed up. So I was telling him to pit, and he probably thought he was pitting. So at the end of the day, it worked out, and we're sitting in victory lane, so it's good.
Congratulations, Cole Pern, the winning crew chief.